Well, I've been thinking a lot lately about making a podcast here, and I decided against it. I thought I would just make a live broadcast for what it's worth. Except for then my computer turned on, so I'm just going to turn off this screen because it's annoying, distracting. I know there's a couple people on here, and I hope everybody's doing well tonight. I made a video earlier where I was talking about human nature, and I was thinking about what's the point of, damn it. See, I can't turn my phone off. Hi, goalie. I can't turn off my, hey, Ryan, how you doing? I unfortunately can't turn off the buzzer on my phone, so I keep getting calls. I could, yeah, anyway, my brother's sending me text messages, but, um, it's been a long year, and there's been so much going on that it's really hard to even be inspired to really make videos. Honestly, lately it's been like, why do I even do this? What's the point? I decided before I came out here, I made my cup of coffee, and then I've got my bong over here, and then I've got my beer over here. All the substances that make a person feel content in their world. Sometimes it makes you feel like a loser. Other times, other times it makes you feel like you can cope. Dealing with many different aspects of life out there. Um, there's so much going on all the time for all of us. Social media, expectations from one another, from our family, from our friends. It's hard to even know what's important anymore. It was funny because as my brother earlier, I asked him if he wanted to do a podcast with me, and I said I could call him up, and he's like, not tonight, which I totally understand. That's out of the blue, but I sent him a kind of a half joke of a list, which started with things like, can we survive as a country? How do we fix the situation we're in? Down to, what is the existential point of life, and why are we here at all, and why aren't we, why do we exist? Why the fuck do we exist at all? I mean, and what is death? And what is beyond death? And I, I wouldn't even dare ask why we care, because if we don't care, it means we're not paying attention to what's really going on. I mean, being alive to me is such an amazing, I don't know, amazing experience. And once in a while, once in a while you step back and you kind of look at the big picture and you say, oh shit, I'm alive in this world. And whether you believe in God or not, I'm sure that I've talked to a lot of friends who are religious, and even they have had weird, I don't know, feelings about, is there a God? Does God exist? Even though they were raised religious. I'm going to tell you a quick story about a friend of mine, Mike Barnum. We were kids, and he used to go to church every Sunday. And we were stoner kids at like 15, 16. We'd get stoned at his house and hang out and fall asleep. He lived up in the attic. And one morning, on a Sunday, his mom's like, Michael, time for church. And he's just like, fuck you, I'm not going. Something to that effect. And she was just like so offended by it. And we cracked up. And, it was offensive because I know church meant everything to his mom. But to us, it was kind of that standing up for ourselves moment. And I was like, yes, let's go out and have some fun, play guitar instead, because church was miserable for, him. And I haven't gone live more than once, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look and see if there's comments here. Oh, I see where the button is now. I have to figure out how to push it without turning off my phone. Okay, Ryan, very long year. Phil says, when did it start? It just started, Phil. I just started this, so I'll probably be on here for a little while. Yes, why do we believe? Okay. We need enduring principles. God is just a way of sticking to it. Hey, man. Yeah, dude. Bad dude. There. You know what? That's a really good fucking point. I'll be honest. There was a moment when I went to Bumbershoot in like 2009 or 6, or I don't know, it was one of the first ones up in Seattle. And I remember we stayed in a motel, got really stoned, took mushrooms one night, and I found a Gideon's Bible, and I just threw it out the motel window, and it just flew down this cliffside onto the highway down below. Pretty stupid in retrospect, but we thought it was funny. Today I would never do something like that, not because I think the book means anything, not because I believe the Bible or the translation of the Hebrew, but I do believe and respect people's need for hope. And the need for hope for me is like, if you can find a book that, gives you answers, that's phenomenal to me. And so um, religion can be a way of sticking to our principles for absolutely, there's no way around it. I personally have not experienced it, but the people I've talked to, and the people I grew up with have definitely shown me that religion does matter in the world. So Olivia says, I'm looking for a peaceful voice to go to sleep to. Hope that's not offensive. No, not at all. I'm glad that somebody finds my voice peaceful. Jake says, have you heard from menthol lately? No, menthol, I have not. And for those who don't know, menthol is a dude who used to talk about kratom on here as well. And no, I haven't talked to him in a while, but he emailed me a while back. He's doing okay. He's just not doing any videos right now. Have you looked into Taoism? I don't know what. Okay, have you looked into Taoism? Seems more philosophical than religious. Yes, absolutely. Taoism, as well as getting into anything that has to do with Eastern mysticism. I mentioned it in an earlier video, but I'm fascinated by Buddhism and especially Zen Buddhism, because it's such a... Buddhism is kind of a rudimentary escape from the absurdity of Hinduism, if that makes sense. In other words, Hinduism itself is pretty damn interesting, and I would say it's got a lot of symbology, but it's taken far too seriously. Buddhism kind of moves away from that, and then Taoism moves away from that even further. And Zen Buddhism is kind of like allowing people to just throw it back in your face and say, oh, you figure it out. You figure out what it means, that it doesn't matter, that the answers really don't matter, that life is so absurd that we have to spend the time we can. I feel like I've learned so much in my time that I understand things, pardon me, in a way that, from a young age, taking a lot of psychedelics, I started to really say, oh shit, it's not about anything material, it's about just being yourself and living life. But that can work against you too, because you're like, nothing matters, and then you go broke, like I've always been broke. Let's go back to the messages here, see what we got. I want to cut back. Have you heard from menthol? Nope. Have you looked into Taoism? Okay, here we are. Reason can be argued and swayed. Personal belief, a relationship cannot be convinced away from someone's words. Perhaps. I can't think that deep right now. I'm trying to be philosophical. No. Personal belief is a really important part of people's lives, of course. Hey, Ben, and hey, Olivia. Yeah, they're both fascinating. I can't take on any one of them. I've never been able to accept that any one person or group ever got it right. And I'm sure that anybody who, even the most hardcore Christian out there, has to have had a moment of doubt. And that's natural. It's okay. In my opinion, if you haven't, then that's great. But it's got to be difficult. Like the Mormons, for example, when they come to my door, I highly respect them. I invite them into my house and talk to them last time they were here. And the two guys, they go on a mission when they're 18. I'm sorry. Get that out of the way. They go on a mission when they're 18, and they go and talk to people, and they try to convert them, basically. And it becomes a little bit absurd, because the things they say are so easy to disprove. But then again, to be fair, they're not also. Who are we to say that they're wrong, right? And I've learned that, they are so family oriented that I start to totally understand that, okay, now I don't support polygamy, of course. I don't support having 15 kids or 20 kids, but I do support the fact that people have freedom to do what they choose, freedom of belief. But I've also seen the harms religion can do, not to the person who believes it, but to those people who don't believe what they believe. So over the years, it's become hard to watch. People get, I don't know, to get marginalized because of what you believe, which is maybe why I'm kind of a sucker or a leftist or a snowflake, because I care about religion in this country, even if it's, Islam. I care about people's beliefs and their rights to their beliefs. And Phil says, I found that psychedelics really helped clear the crap out of your head. Yes, they have. And yeah, I've been wanting to take some. I had an ounce of mushrooms a while back, so I bought like a little pint of honey, and I blended it with the honey, and I've been turning it forever. Now it's just a kind of a rich honey that I'm ready to filter and strain, and I want to be able to take a certain amount. I don't believe in microdosing psychedelics, but I do believe in higher doses of psychedelics, which to me is the equivalent about 5 dried grams of mushrooms, which I guess it was, damn it, brain fart. So many of the heroes of psychedelics, like Terence McKenna, for example, said that there was a 5 gram, in Total Darkness, it was like the hero dose. Everybody in psychedelic land, the psychonauts have all heard this, but 5 grams is a lot of mushrooms. It's not for everyone, and I do not recommend it. And I took 7.5 grams one night with my friend under the stars, and it was like being in another land. But the experience you take away from psychedelics is not about what you see. It's not about the visuals. It's not about the high. It's about the way it allows your brain to rewire itself for a little while. And they've shown that it really does connect certain parts of the brain that usually don't communicate. It shuts down the frontal cortex a little bit, allows you to just kind of relax, talk with other people, and it's the initial part of the trip can be a little intense, but after that, it's great to sit and have a conversation with people. Like, I've had life-changing moments and bonding moments. It's important to remember that if you do take psychedelics, you have to watch out that you don't take them around people if you do take them around somebody of the opposite sex, or I guess if you're gay, somebody of the same sex, be careful not to let the psychedelics make you think that you love that person overnight, because people who take psychedelics, it really increases your serotonin, especially LSD and MDMA, which is why people go to raves and they get down and then they find out they don't really like that fucking person at all. So, just beware, I guess. Be smart. Hero dose, White Shadow says. Hell yeah. Let's see, Romario. Is that Romario? Sorry, I'm trying to read. I think I'm going to need glasses now. I'm almost 45. I'll be 45 on the 25th. So, it's legitimate. It's really good to hear your words, man. I've been wanting to put a lot of meditation and talking to God is starting now. Nice. Do you prefer LSD or mushrooms? I definitely prefer mushrooms, but I also don't like, it depends. I like mushrooms when I want a deep experience that will really bring me close to Earth. I'll take LSD if I'm going to a Burning Man-like event and I want to stay up for 12 hours and dance at 4 in the morning like an idiot. Because LSD allows me to function a little bit better, generally, but fungus just knocks my ass down. Most psychedelics do. Gub says, is psychosis really tearing the walls down and seeing the true reality, hallucinations? No, psychosis is different. Psychosis is similar, and psychosis can be induced by psychedelics. So let me put it this way: in the 50s and 60s, the psychedelic experience moved into this acid tests. In the 60s, 70s, a lot of experiments were done on psychedelics, and they found that a lot of doctors were taking psychedelics to try to understand how a schizophrenic thought. In other words, it was supposed to mimic what it was like to be schizophrenic. Now, in some ways, that's completely absurd, but in some ways, it's actually very true. And especially if a person has predisposed to psychosis or any type of schizophrenia, they can actually really fuck themselves up bad by taking too many psychedelics. I've seen it firsthand. I've helped people through it. I've watched them break down for up to a month or two or three and kind of forget who they are for a while. It can be very scary. They build back stronger. Your mind's never gone. It's difficult. There seems to be something that your brain, I don't know how to define it, but it's like this defensive mechanism your brain puts out. Psychosis seems to be a block as to something in your life that is so fucking absurd, it's really messing you up. You block it out by going kind of crazy for a while and forgetting about everything. You lose your mind. A lot of people they start seeing connections that aren't there. Then you start wondering, are they there? And, as a guy who's taken psychedelics myself, it's easy to wonder whether there's something that they're seeing that we aren't. But in reality, a lot of people have just kind of lost it for a while. What I've said to people who have seen these like weird patterns and had psychosis and breakdowns is, even if you're seeing patterns that may exist and realities that may exist, the most important thing to remember is, if the rest of the world doesn't see it, it doesn't really matter. In other words, they're not worth it if we can't explain it to other people. It seems that reality has layers, okay? Now I'm like a fucking nutcase myself. Reality has layers, and time has loops. Time has these interwoven loops, which once in a while these loops cross. Zzz, and you realize, oh shit, I'm supposed to be here. Now I know that might sound crazy. It's actually scary as shit when it happens. But it happens. You can call it a deja vu, but that's not the same thing. I've had plenty of deja vus, and actually, deja vu is probably caused by an issue with brain chemistry and dopamine. Um, People who have Parkinson's can have major deja vus. And when I was taking mucuna pruriens, which has a 25%, the stuff I was taking had 25% L-dopa in it, which is metabolized into dopamine. And I had crazy dreams, and I also had really wild deja vus every day. So I realized that dopamine is definitely interconnected. Serotonin and dopamine aren't something you fuck around with. It's not something you just take these substances lightly. You have to know what you're doing. So I definitely don't want to go too deep into that. I should keep up with the comments here. I'm not coughing. I actually have my phlegm in my throat, and it's probably from vaping, because I probably shouldn't vape. No, it's really bad for me. Always needed high doses to get on the level. Yeah, it's scary at first, but worth it. What do you think of salvia? Oh, dude, come on. Salvia, oh my God. A friend of mine brought this stuff. It was 60 times, or so it said. This was like 15 years ago. He's like, I tried this. It was too much. You can have it. I smoked a little bit, and I remember seeing these swirling patterns that reminded me of like a McDonald's sign. And my friend came over and smoked some. He said, we had to kind of hold him to the chair to make sure he didn't leave. He said, it felt like he was in Fred Meyer, the grocery store, which would be Kroger out east, I guess. And he said that he was sitting there, like in the store, he's walking around, and everything was covered in saran wrap. All the shelves, the people, the food, and everything. And that's what the hallucination he was having. And I was like, oh shit, dude, that's fucking crazy. I mean, I had some weird ones, but I haven't tried it in 10 years. And I still have the stuff the dude gave me 15 years ago. And I don't plan to try it anytime soon. It's pretty fucked up. I've wanted to take psychedelics for a while, but I have Crohn's, and I've heard they're very hard on the stomach. Jake, you know what? That's a difficult one to address. LSD can be absorbed multiple ways. You don't even have to take it orally. You don't have to even swallow it. But it might have effects on the digestive system that are separate from the fact of eating it. Mushrooms may do that, but LSD, I mean, that's different. On the other hand, Crohn's disease, and my friend who had it, my best friend when we were younger, he had it, and I know how it affects mood and whatnot, because when you affect the gut, you're affecting the microbiome in the gut. That affects mood and serotonin. So therefore, it's almost like if you can have something that will improve your mood long term, that will increase your serotonin, which will increase your well-being, which will help your microbiome, which might help Crohn's. I think thinking positive is hard when you're already feeling sick. I had a friend, and I know how it is. I wish my buddy would not send me messages right now. I should have told him I was live. Do you know Xanax? Oh, come on, man. Yeah, dude. God, benzodiazepines are so fucking dangerous, but I love them. Man, you are outstanding, great person, amazing. Saying that, well, thank you. All pushed by the CIA. Well, good, dude. The CIA keeps us good and drugged up. I'm cool with that. Bad stomach, yeah. Well, if you take mushrooms, I've always got a bad stomach, and it's not just what eating it; it's what it does to your mind at first. It's like, oh, you get really stressed out and nervous, and after that, it's. I'm curious. Do you practice any breathing exercises? No, I don't. Probably should. I'm well aware of the whole prana and breathing, but I don't feel like I need to. I don't feel stressed out or anxious. I feel like I have really managed myself pretty well mentally in my life, and maybe that's arrogant. Maybe I'm totally wrong. I feel like I should meditate. I used to have this circle right where I'm sitting. It was this huge meditation circle in chalk, and I had all these candles and shit, and I'd come out here and play this calming, white noise and meditate. And I kind of thought, what am I doing? I just don't. I don't do any practices at all like that. I play music. That's what I do for my meditation. So, but I don't do any breathing exercises either. Not so bad on my stomach. Life of Illusion. I don't know. Maybe. I'm the one who pulls the strings. Sweet. The Acid Test, Grateful Dead, love them. Yeah, that was fucking awesome. They contributed to that, but it wasn't about the music. That was one of the coolest things. It was about the acid itself, but the music was kind of secondary. And Frank says, love it when you go live. Thank Frank. I don't ever go live. This is only the second time I've done it, and I won't do it if I'm drunk or stoned. I'll do it if I'm slightly drunk and stoned. It's funny. I have to be at a certain level where I'm not like slurring my speech, but I'm also, not feeling awkward because I'm a human being. I mean, even making videos, I feel very insecure. It's weird. After 10 years and 4,000 videos or something, I just feel weird and awkward. It's like I'm putting myself out to the world and talking to people, and when it's live, it's even weirder because I wanted to do it before, but I just don't. I don't know. It just feels weird. It's a little Easter egg to let you know this isn't your real life. Oh, yeah, I know. I don't care, though, because they're all great. That's the beauty. Everything's neat and rectangular. Oh, that's funny. Okay, he says psychedelics make me feel like I'm living in a miniature model world. Everything's neat and rectangular. On that note, it was what I was going to point out about the difference between mushrooms and LSD. We define it as being angular or rounded. Mushrooms are rounded. LSD is angular. Just the way I perceive things, and I can't explain what that means, and I won't even try. List clears up my skin. Oh, LSD clears up my skin, strangely enough. No, that's not strange at all. If you are less stressed and less anxious for a period of time, you won't produce as much cortisol, and your body won't produce as much oils on the skin. I had the worst acne when I was younger. I'm telling you. I thought I'd never grow a beard because I had such bad acne on my cheeks that there was pock marks all over, and I thought when I did grow a beard, I was like, oh, thank God, even just, I don't know, it's a weird thing. I can shave and they're not too bad really, but still it reminds you of going to high school and getting picked on for having big ass zits. It's bullshit. Fucking bullies. Yeah. You said once you didn't care for vaping flower. What kind of vaporizer did you use? No, what I meant was I just prefer smoking flower, and I feel like vaporizing doesn't give me the full effect of, I don't know. I just feel like I'm wasting weed if I just vaporize it, and it does. I'm not satisfied. It's weird. I can't explain it. I like to smoke flower. I mean, I grow my own, and it's not. There's no chemicals, no sprays, no anything. It's totally organic, and it's stony as hell. It's good shit. So I'm happy with just smoking flower. I've tried vaporizers. They just such a weak hit, and maybe it's just the weed of today, which is very high in THC. THC tends to be very psychedelic and very high, buzz like enlightening, whereas smoking it with other like CBN and CBD is totally different because it's very difficult to explain. The first part of the experience can be very almost psychedelic, then it goes down to kind of a mellower buzz. I like the weed that hits me right in the temples right away, and that's usually the indicas, and that's my experience anyway. Older ones, okay, volcano, yeah. I haven't tried all these different ones. What does it say? A deeper level of char, and they're manual, controlled by flame, not battery electricity. Oh, I haven't tried that. No. Think you might be interested. Considered sending one. No, I haven't tried one. What does it say here? Okay, volcano had lower temperature. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, you want to know the truth about why I never did vaporizers? It's not because I wasn't interested. It's because I'm poor as fuck. I mean, I can afford things, but I really always save money because I feel like, oh shit, anything could happen tomorrow. And if I buy a weed vaporizer, I'm taking a risk. It's kind of like buying a vape for vaping. You never know if it's going to be a piece of crap that costs you $100 and just breaks the first day, or this box which I've dropped 20 times and just lasts forever. So, it's not that I'm against vaping cannabis. I would probably enjoy it. I just haven't bought a device. That's all. Sounds like someone became a vegetable. Um, okay. Yeah. I felt like I was levitating on 40X. Must be talking about salvia. Yeah, dude. Totally. It's it's fucking weird. First time I took acid, I had a conversation with an ape. Then we smoked a bowl. Nice. I had different experiences. One stood out for me. I was drunk and smoked the extract. 3 big hits went in white space above the earth. I believe that. Hi, Josh from Norway. Well, hello from Norway people. That's great. That's weird. And by the way, if you guys don't know this already, I have a podcast now. 15-minute free thinking. Not minutes, but minute. And so, yeah, I put that on Spotify and iTunes and all that other bullshit because it's fun and I like to do it. I want President Joe Biden up in my girl. Oh, man. Come on. Is everybody as fucked up as I am? I'm not even high yet. I guess maybe I should have got more drunk. Then I could laugh at all these comments that are absurd. You seem very centered in your energy, if very balanced. Well, thank you. Another thing about salvia, it appears to have reversed opiate withdrawal for me. Oh, you know what? It might be. Some psychedelics trigger certain parts of the brain, like, what's that one? It's not... A lot of people want to take ayahuasca, but it's actually ibogaine. It's the iboga, and they make ibogaine out of it, and people take that, breaks their opiate addiction overnight. It's not 100% successful, but it works. Communicating to me in guitar language to impress me? I don't know. It's possible, depending on what you were smoking. And we'll talk about Dimitri another time, by the way. I say no to snorting oxy. Yeah, I say no to snorting oxy also. Opiates are fucked up. Everybody enjoys them. It's one of those things. If you've taken opiates, you might not enjoy them, but the point is the people that have, once you have enjoyed it, it's very difficult to break away. Kratom is a phenomenal herb for me, so I just, that keeps me away from taking that shit. I've never been an addict, fortunately. Yeah, kratom instead of oxy, but don't snort. Exactly. There's a YouTube video of a guy saying, I snort kratom, and it's really hard because I know it's a joke. It's got to be a joke, but if it's not a joke, the guy really sounds sincere, and it makes him sound like a total douchebag. 4,000 videos is quite a bit. Yes, it is. I don't know what I'm thinking, and I feel it's almost embarrassing. I started doing it about when my youngest, not my youngest, my middle kid, he's 10 now, or 11, but I started, when he was like a baby, we'd be, he'd be asleep taking naps, and I was like the stay-at-home dad. My wife was a waitress, so she'd just work, so we didn't have to pay a babysitter. At the time, I'd fucked my back up too for a while as a carpenter, and so I stayed home with him. I'd just play Red Dead Redemption with my friend for a while, and I had this thing of making videos. And when I went back to work as a carpenter, I kept making videos at work, and I would share my thoughts with people. So I still have these sunrise videos from like 8 years ago when I was working at this house in the West Hills. But carpentry is my main trade, and it's what I love to do the most. You look like David Gilmour on the Pink Floyd metal gatefold sleeve. Hey, oh man, I'll take that as a fucking. I know. Actually, I know that picture. That's a great album. Thank you. Yeah, I'll take it. I was joking about the oxy part. Do you reject Jesus? Well, I don't know. The who. Do you reject Jesus? Now, is that an actual question? You have to tell me what you mean by do you reject Jesus? Yeah, you let me know what you mean by that first. Andy says, woo, LOL. Only when he tries to rub me the wrong way. Same thing with me. Vaping, it just doesn't do it for me. No, you know what? A lot of people say that. Vaping does not do it for me either, compared to smoking. But I know that I'm not dying as fast. At least I believe that. I just told my wife tonight. I've been trying to get her to quit smoking, and it's hard. You know, I know how hard it is, and it's hard for me to quit vaping too. It's one of those habits. And I said, you know, watch in 10 years they'll find out vaping was twice as bad as smoking, and you'll be the healthy one, right? But you know, what do you do? I enjoy the smell of my menstrual cycle blood. Sweet, bro. I've been itching to make videos of my own. Oh, this is from White Shadow. Videos of my own and just talking, but I'm afraid people will think I think I know it all when I just want to talk about what I perceive. Thoughts on that? The fear. Hey, that's a great question. Thank you for a fucking. That's an awesome question. I can actually answer that. I when I first started my channel, I was quite insecure myself. Even though I don't know, I'd have to ask people honestly what they think of me, like whether they think that I'm completely secure, confident, or insecure, and I'm somewhere in between. I feel like I know a lot of shit because I study a lot of shit, but I really don't like sounding arrogant. So when I did this channel for a while, I really wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to start teaching people things, and then I thought, I'm starting to learn a lot of the things I thought were true aren't. And so I kind of backed off, and now I just talk about what I think. It was funny because even my own brother was kind of giving me shit. He's like, I don't understand how you can just sit there and just talk about random shit. And I'm like, I don't know. In essence, not literally what he said, but, you know, it's kind of like, well, I don't know. Maybe I should. I try to be as organized as I can. I take a lot of notes, and I do a lot of research on the things that I make videos about. But at the same time, it's like, I'm a disorganized person. I don't like, you know, my computers are all fucked up. I'm using my cell phone to stream live, but that's just kind of the way it is these days. And, you know, I don't know. Sorry, I didn't really answer your question. Getting over the fear, you just have to do it. Because the first part of the video, the first time I started making videos, people would just, I got so much hate. And I got into this argument with this dude. He like trolled me for like a year. I didn't know any better, you know, because I was trying to defend myself. And I'm like, what the fuck do I care about this dumbass's opinion? Eventually, it just went away. What I can say is, if you want to make videos about shit, there will always be a hater. You'll always get a thumb down, no matter what. It's just how it is. Some dudes don't. They manage to get amazing, like, I've seen like 700 thumbs up and like no thumbs down on some videos. But eventually, there's that one guy. Maybe he's drunk and he bumps it, but for me, I know it's because I talk about political shit, and I'm reluctant. If you want to make videos and you want to keep it neutral, you should be fine. If you talk about anything controversial or political, you're going to get some feedback from people, because half the people feel differently. That's my experience with it. But I feel obligated as a citizen to explain how I feel. And that's why, I talk about politics sometimes, or religion, or whatever I think might be harming the world. Thanks for the long answer on cannabis vapes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wish I knew more about them. um, Salvia is a kappa opioid like kratom. I've heard of that actually, but really intense and short term. It's weird. And the thing about LSD is it goes into the little synapse and it closes over it, and that's why LSD lasts so long. It actually might dissolve in. They're still kind of learning how that works, but other chemicals kind of come and go. Like serotonin comes and then it gets released, but LSD gets put in there and then it locks over it. Very interesting. Kratom samples the other day from local Ming shop, or the local Kratom, yeah, smoke shop. Capsule form. I've never tried Kratom. Well, just go easy on it. It's good stuff. I like it. Ibogaine 70% per sex. Yeah, it is. That is a pretty good. Kratom's kept me away from stronger opioids. Wanting to try your Kratom, but I wish you could PayPal. I wish I could also. I got terminated from them for using Kratom, and they held my funds for like 6 months, but I'm working on something else. I don't want to sell Kratom anymore because it's really hard to find really, really, really good Kratom, and I only want to sell really, really, really good Kratom. So I want to find another source of income. I never made a fortune off it anyway, but found any fun stuff this mushroom season? Fuck no. God, man. I wanted to go out so bad, but you know how it's been. It's been all weird and shit. People are all weird and shit. Now that Oregon's decriminalized all drugs, I'm going straight to fucking Fort Stevens next October once the law is passed and everything, because I know it'll just be $100 fine if I get busted with mushrooms. I don't think the cops are going to fuck with people anyway, but there are some areas where they will, like, patrol, and if they see you picking mushrooms, they'll ask. I'm smart enough to be able to pick other mushrooms at the same time and know what I'm doing. I would never let a cop search me, and I would never let those mushrooms be held in my hand so they could see it or put them in a bag. But I haven't gone to the coast this year. Honestly, I don't feel like I need to because I don't even take the ones I have. I haven't taken mushrooms in a while. But next year I want to pick a whole shitload and put them all in honey and just have them for years. Put them in like a 5-gallon fucking bucket full of like mushroom honey. It'll last forever. That sounds ridiculous, but I'm not kidding. Kratom munchies. Kratom can cause kidney failure. No, there's no evidence and proof of that at all. You might mean liver failure, kidney failure. Who knows? There's a lot of reports that certain people have reactions to certain herbs, and it's possible that it could contribute to that, especially if it's tainted or contaminated with metals. But traditionally, it's been used with no major issue from what I've seen. And it depends on how much you take. Creepy kiddo. I didn't even realize. Ever consider building guitars, Carpo? If you like woodworking, that could be fun. I did. I'm working on one bass guitar. It's laminated with this really nice mahogany. It's a electric bass, and I've only built the body. And I built one acoustic guitar, but I didn't do it out of the materials I should have, so it's embarrassing, and I would not even dare share it. Guitars are very difficult. A luthier can like replace or repair them, and it takes a lot of different tools to do it. So I don't have the tools for that one. I have a whole garage full of tools. I've got routers and router bits. I can make cabinets and drawers and little fine details on shit. The desk I'm using here was all built out of like one piece of oak, and yeah, I'm proud of it. It's got these drawers that come out and then just soft close hinges and everything. Built it for this guy, this rich dude that he changed his mind on what he wanted to do, and he kind of fucked up the stain, so he just gave it back to me after I'd built it. It was like a $2,000 desk, that I spent like, 60 hours on. It's like, okay, whatever. Anyway, I have a lot of carpentry skills, but I haven't used them in a while. Kava or kratom or both? I haven't had kava in a long time. Reject the status quo, love life, work hard, and the illuminated will guide you. Yeah, pretty much. Whatever the illuminated is, who knows? That's subjective, I guess. Nicotine helps block corona. Not sure if that's true or not. I wouldn't count on it. I really wouldn't. Um, Cryogyro, you've been an inspiration to me. Thank you and your time and effort, Carpo, and know you have changed life for the better. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Um, I really do. Somebody says it's hard to come by good kava. Andy, yes, it is. That's what I've heard too. I haven't taken it in quite a while, but I do enjoy it. It's a good buzz. You can't abuse kava. You have to take it, sparingly. But it's fun. It's nice. It's relaxing. Did you grow any tobacco plants this year? If yes, how many plants? Yes, the truth is I did not grow any tobacco plants this year. However, about 20 tobacco plants grew. In other words, I don't grow them. I've started saying that about my garden. I don't grow vegetables. They grow. I just plant the seed. I know that's kind of ridiculous, but with tobacco it's true because I actually don't plant the seed. Every year, those things put off so much seed. I put some of the seeds on my website at like little packets, and I end up giving away like 5 times as much because you can get so many seeds per plant. It's ridiculous. And so the ones that grew from what was already left over from the year before. And I'll just kind of move them around because I know what they look like as sprouts now. I mean, I started recognizing different plants in my garden. I'm like, aha, that's natural. Oh, that's an invasive one. And so I moved them all to one area, and I harvested some seeds and a bunch of leaves, but not very much because a lot of it molded. But I have a pretty good harvest, and I actually have my harvest from last year that's already cured and ready. And I was just going through all my shit, and I got this like this 2 5-gallon buckets full of like various things like tobacco and sage and all this shit that I've harvested. I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do with all this stuff? This is ridiculous, but I don't know. It's like a passion of mine. I'm kind of obsessive about doing weird things, growing things. Okay. Love or hate reaction is good. People respond. Yeah, I guess so. Wow, is there really 45 people watching? That's fucking cool as shit. I really didn't expect many people to join, but damn, I've been on here for 45 minutes. My kids are probably going to bed right now, and I can't be there for them. Logic, hey, guitar, yes, was just playing for what it's worth on my guitar. Yes, for what it's worth. What? You must have seen the version I did of it on YouTube, I'm guessing. I mean, I'm assuming, or you wouldn't have said that, but I had fun playing that song. It was funny. It's been a while. I wrote a song today, and I put it on my Patreon, just as a place to link to because I'm going to use it for my podcast. But it's like a podcast intro kind of thing. But I also wrote another one, and it was about the political situation right now. It was called Concede. I don't want to get into that, but it was a joke because I wrote this little beat and this bass line, and I started recording, and I was like, one of my best buddies gave me this bass the other day, and I was like, dude, fucking awesome, thanks. And it was an acoustic bass. I always wanted one, so I started jamming on it, and I was freshly inspired, and so I wrote like 2 new songs. It's like, oh man, why can't this just come naturally? It's like as we get older, we feel guilty for playing guitar. It's really weird. I feel guilty for making music. It's like ridiculed by society. It's like everybody loves listening to music, but oh, you should be doing other things, cleaning your house or doing other things, and I probably should. So I'm sure kratom will cause ill effects, but drinking destroyed my pancreas. Yeah, let me just tell you this. When I talk about substances, no matter what you consume, don't be proud of it. I hate it when people brag, I smoke 2 ounces a month, or sorry, 2 ounces a day. 2 ounces a month is about right, actually, for a stoner. But saying, the people like, I smoke a pound a week, and I drink a case of beer a day. It's like, there's nothing to brag about with overconsumption. I try to be careful. I regret it if I drink too much. I regret it if I smoke too much. I usually wait till the evening to puff. I might take a couple tokes. I just I'm on my 3rd beer. So, 2 beers to me is like nothing. But I've found that some people can't handle it. People have their own tolerances to things. A friend of mine quit, and he's been sober for 2 years. Another friend of mine had an opioid problem. We've, everybody has their issues. I've seen the white drug train. I'm not even going to go there, but in the past, we've all had our problems. And so, you know, whatever. Everything causes problems, I guess is my point. You're going to assume that no matter what you consume, you're dying, right? Milk kills you, meat kills you, bacon kills you. I'm starting to understand where people are coming from when they're just like, who fucking cares? Just be reasonable and, enjoy yourself, because stress kills faster than anything. I'll just tell you that. In other words, like, if you can take something that will help ease your stress, it might save your life. But be careful of opioids and be careful of benzodiazepines. Yep, I didn't drink enough water. Yeah, that could happen. Water is important. I need to drink more water, but I don't work out. You just have to listen to your body. There's no certain amount of water you need to drink. That's important. Each body can respond to how much water it needs. But if you work in a high demand business or you exercise a lot, yeah, you have to drink more water than you average, would. And especially if you're taking a lot. Hydrate well. But I've been taking it for 10 years. My body adapted. It's like people say, oh, you also get constipated. But truth is, you do for a while, but your body accommodates. Let me just put it this way. Your body adapts to whatever situation you put it into. It's pretty amazing. I'm sure you've all seen the people who go diving and they can hold their breath for 12 minutes because it's what they do. The people who can, swing across treetops because it's what they do. It's the same thing with the way your body adapts physically. It can also adapt internally. People who are, have a very good immune system can fight off viruses if they're exposed to a lot of different viruses, a lot of different bacteria. You can fight off, various viral infections and bacterial infections. Everybody's different is the point. So you just have to know yourself, and you have to be smart. And don't give advice to other people, especially about what they should or shouldn't consume, because some people, they can take something once and it'll really mess them up. So people should be able to talk calmly about this stuff without letting their emotions get the best of them. Easier said than done. Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, for a lot of the time, people get very confrontational. Hey, Ronan, how you doing, my man? Mikhail says, Carpo, I live in PDX. You ever hit up the Bulu Kava bar on Herb Stomp? Oh, I didn't know that Herb Stomp had a Kava bar. That's funny. When I worked in Portland and I ran out of Kratom, and one time when I was jonesing for Kratom, I was like, oh, I can just quit. And I was like, okay, I'm working and I'm like really tired and I haven't had any Kratom. So I went over to the Herb Stomp and I bought some of their Kratom, and I found out that Herb Stomp gets their Kratom from the same guy I do, Ethan. The same vendor I do, or they used to. And then I talked to them a while, and they were like, oh, his stuff's too expensive, which was my problem, because I was buying and reselling it from him because he wasn't a public vendor. And he's a nice guy. I've known him, been buying from him for like 10 years, and he's a good guy. And I've never met him in person, of course, but, business-wise. And but Herb Stomp was buying the same stuff, so it was nice to be able to buy some from them. But they also had some Red Horn and some other ones. But point being, no, I haven't tried their kava, and I haven't been over there in a really long time. I live in Vancouver, right over the bridge. Carpo, recommend a vape because I keep getting bad ones. What do you mean a vape? Like a type of vape? Honestly, dude, I don't buy vape units. I have a box, my own mod box here, which just has a drip unit with a double coil in it, and I just have a little drip tank, and I just bloop, because I lost the other one I had, but I can't really recommend one unless I know what type of. This is a Vaporesso box, which I've dropped a bunch of times, and the tank is a radar tank, and honestly, these are all recycled. I go down to the vape shop and the dude's like, here, you can have these, they're old. Like I said, I'm a cheapskate, man. I mean, I haven't bought anything new in years. I just don't feel like I ever deserve to buy new shit for myself. I don't know. It's weird. One of my things. Oregon's decriminalized all drugs. Oregon's, I mean, you mean Oregon, right? Yeah, they did. It's pretty cool, actually. Haven't taken mushrooms for a long time. Yeah, I'm about due. Me too. Logic says, are the tank systems the best? I like an RDA, rebuildable drip atomizer, or RTA, rebuildable tank atomizer, which holds liquid, which they all break on me because they have glass things. I go back and forth. I'm really just trying to quit vaping too, because it's just a bad habit. Have you heard of Zagar guitars? Nope, I have not. LSD to treat ailments, including cravings. Have you been to Electric Forest? It's probably the most popular. No, I don't like mainstream music festivals. I hate them. I don't want to go to anything too big. I go to a local Burning Man. It's only like 1,500 people. It's a regional. Microdosing LSD. No, you really can't be dependent. Microdosing LSD, the purpose to keep yourself from being dependent on other things. That's not true. You can microdose LSD and still consume any other drug and still overdo it. But you will never be addicted to LSD itself, if that's what you mean. LSD itself isn't addictive, but some people have an addictive personality to psychedelics. But I would not say that psychedelics can help everyone microdosing, because this is my experience, you need a large fucking impact. You need to get your ass kicked by fucking acid or mushrooms. You need to be put in your fucking place by Mother Nature for you to really see why these things are a problem. So in other words, if you want to really kick a bad habit, getting high enough to really say, oh shit, this is reality, that's the important thing, in my opinion. Microdosing itself might give you a slight, release from depression or anxiety. Addictions come back. They always come back. It's very hard to break them. So, but like I said, everybody's unique. I just don't think that microdosing's for me. When I'm 40, I can live a happier life and do the things I want to do and influence others. I hope you can too. And I hope I can continue to enjoy my life as well. With such a great philosophical division in this country, do you think this country can actually remain united? Seems like right and left is always grabbing for power. Yes, right and left politics and right and left politicians, but not people. Right and left are always on the same bird. We can't forget that. Wondering how long it'll be until the Libertarian Party gets more mainstream attention, hoping it won't take another generation. I have no idea. Libertarians have their own problems. I believe libertarianism has some great theories about reduction in government, but unfortunately it also means reduction in oversight, reduction in regulations. And what happens is, in a world like we have today, corporations already run the world. Without any regulations, the idea that the free market will take care of the people is absurd. And so I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I don't say that there's a better answer. I don't have one. I really don't. Ryan says, this country has never been united and never will. Well, that's pretty positive thinking, bro. No, I don't mean that harshly, but, it's not about being united on every issue. It's not about being united on who to vote for. It's not even about being united on whether you want abortion, to allow abortion, or any of these really intense, high-stakes issues. It's whether you're united on being a human. And sometimes all it takes is one experience in life to understand how important it is to accept the other side. And that's why maybe psychedelics are something that everybody should try. Logic says, for me, I have to force myself to play music because I'd rather be meditating or something. Yeah, I don't really care for meditation enough. I'd rather listen to music. It is my meditation, I guess. Yeah, I don't have the patience for it. Maybe one day when I'm older. Look, there's a difference. Here's what I've realized. I have 3 kids. I got a 25-year-old who plays electric guitar in his room, and he loves to solo. It could be loud as crazy. Then I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old that just run around the house like nutcases. After 9 p.m., they just all of a sudden have this burst of energy for 3 hours, and they're loud and crazy. Can't stop it. Just can't stop it. I'm not the kind of parent who just lays down the law and screams at my kids. So I'm like, well, as long as they get up on time and they do their schoolwork, even though it's crazy COVID time and we do it from home. Um, anyway, because of my crazy hectic lifestyle, I've learned to really adapt. It's almost like you'd think that I'd need meditation more, but in reality, I feel like just coming out here and making a video and talking to you all is my meditation. Really, it really is. It's kind of weird, but yeah, it's chill because I can, take it as it comes. Um, a lot of libertarians, yeah, exactly. I don't like voting. I don't like politics. I don't like any of it. I don't fucking. I really don't. Growers love, nice. Growers love, hell yeah, dude. Actually, check this out. It's this jar. It's a really cool jar. I think it was like a pickle jar or something. I don't even know, but it's really beautiful. Of course, you won't be able to really see the quality because you know how YouTube is. But I was really impressed. I ended up with one seed, and I planted it. Well, I had a bunch of seeds, but it was from one bag I bought, and I was very disappointed with the bag of weed. And I had a bunch of seeds, and I told my wife, I'm going to grow this, and I'm going to make sure that I get my money back. And I did. It was a really nice plant. It was beautiful. But speaking of that, the drug laws have just changed immensely. I mean, we have been through so much shit as the people who have smoked cannabis for so long, who have just been ridiculed and put down for what they choose to do with their time, what they choose to do. I try to be respectful and not smoke pot on camera. I used to all the time when I made videos, but if I'm live, I don't really give a shit because it's late at night and no kids are watching, right? So. But I respect the herb. I'm not one of those guys that has to do some stupid fucking fake ass white boy Rasta far eye fucking prayer over it or anything. But I grew up in that that mid 90s, early to mid 90s kind of secondary hippie revolution where, all my bros had dreadlocks and God, it was ridiculous sometimes. I was one of those guys with my long ass hair. Dudes with long hair, they're just idiots. Why would any dude have long hair? Actually, you know what's funny? I kept it short for most of my life. Met my wife at 23. I'd already cut it about 2 years before that. I was working at a gas station. She worked at a restaurant. And then about 3 years ago, I just said, I'm just going to let it grow out. Because I saw some dude with long hair, and I was like, I want to do that kind of. I was like, it's been a really long time, and look how fucking long it's gotten now. It's kind of nice. Kind of like. Cheers. You grew up during MTV. Oh, dude, I loved MTV. I was just watching the Headbangers Ball the other day on, it's hilarious. That show was, I better put my hair back if I'm going to toke, though, because I've learned my lessons. Come on. Cheap ass lighters. MTV was pretty awesome. I loved it. But that was all we had, so in retrospect, it really sucked. But the Headbangers Ball every Saturday night, they played awesome music. Dreadlocks. Yeah. Dreadlocks have their moment, and they work for some people, but they don't work for most white people, that's for sure. It's kind of funny. And that's judgmental. I have had friends with dreads for years. It's kind of a joke between us. White zombie. Yeah. Don't you dare cut it, dude. I don't plan to, but I thought about it the other day. I told my kids, I was like, I'm gonna go in and just cut it, shave it off, and sell it. And they're like, no. It's like I'm gonna come into your room one morning with my beard shaved and my hair shaved, and just be like, oh, eyebrows and everything, be like some Pink Floyd fucking. But when I was younger, my hair was actually longer, and my favorite thing to do is to just put it into two braids like that, because it's actually the convenience factor You know, when you see Native Americans that have their hair parted and, it's, braided down like this, people think, oh, it's part of culture. It is, but it's convenience in culture. If you have it right in the back, it kind of hurts when you lay back. I mean, it's the easiest way to just keep it out of your face, and it looks pretty cool too. Yeah. All right. I wish my music could be on the level of some of those old bands. It could be. I mean, if you, I'm going to be honest. A lot of those old bands sucked. My mom and I were talking about Elvis the other day, for example. Not that that's what you're talking about, but Elvis. And I was saying, over 600 songs. He didn't write any of his own music. He was just the first boy band. And I've written music that I consider better than a lot of the early fucking stuff. I mean, the really early stuff. For example, the Beatles. Oh, curse me for saying the Beatles weren't that great. Not in the beginning. They were extremely talented, long term. But some of their stuff was very simple, very rudimentary. It wasn't overly complex to where you would say, oh, wow. But for the time, it was very innovative. So, talking shit about the Beatles doesn't really work, but hopefully you know where I'm coming from. You can write any music you want. You have Ableton at your disposal, GarageBand, all these other programs. Ableton is amazing, and it's relatively free. You can add all the sound effects. I've got this studio out there where I've got my 2 basses, my guitars, a couple keyboards, and an 8-track. Physical 8-track where I can actually, move switches on it and actually push buttons. Not like some digital screen where I have to wait for something. And you just hit a button, it flashes, then you hit record. You record one channel. You can record up to 8 separate channels, then change the vocals if you don't like them. You can do all that on a computer too, but having a physical thing to do it, really, especially if it's analog output, where you've got just this amazing crisp sound of the original recording. I love a good recording. Okay, my wife has them. What does your wife have? Has what? Dreadlocks? Well, there's nothing wrong with dreadlocks. See, if I talk shit about dreadlocks and your wife has them, then I did not say anything bad about dreadlocks, because I never say anything bad about a woman. The Teen Wolf look going on? No offense, man. No, none taken at all, dude. Fucking Teen Wolf? That's awesome. I actually kind of forgot I had this thing on. It's kind of annoying. Oh, it's my backup mask. It's a Shipibo design. It's like a traditional an actual tribal design in the way that it's woven. And you buy these it was this online company. My friend was selling them. Like these hippie bandanas. They're pretty cool. Yeah, so thoughts on Alan Watts or Manly P. Hall? Well, dude, I mean, yeah, I have lots of thoughts on both of them, but I can't really, if I started talking about them, I wouldn't be able to talk about anything else, because I'd go on and on about random philosophers. But I have several videos that I've made talking about both of them, and I have an entire 2 pages of a book with all these highlighted numbers where it's like Manly P. Hall, tape A, side B, 1 hour and 2 minutes and 30 seconds into like 1 hour and 10 minutes and 12. It's like very specific sections that I heard that were inspiring to me from Manly P. Hall. One day, my intention was to go through and put all those into one, thing for people to hear, because he had some amazing things to teach. And he was too serious. Whereas Alan Watts was not serious enough, but he could teach even more. Because if you take life too seriously, you've missed the point. You've really missed the point. You can't. Put it this way, I don't take life too seriously because it doesn't take me too seriously. Hopefully that makes sense. We relate so closely to plants. We actually relate closer to mushrooms. Do you know that? The mushrooms are closer to human DNA than they are to plants. It's pretty awesome. Long hair has benefits. It does in the winter. Yes, it does in the winter. In the summer, it's hot and sticky. House of 1,000 Corpses saved me from addiction. The end where the lady rises from the hay. I don't remember that. I don't think I saw that. Braids. Yep. I don't know I ever want to do anything bad again. Well, don't then. Don't do anything bad. cut the hair and you'd lose all that energy in which you've consumed through that time you've grown it. You know that's not true. That's the old Samson and Delilah. No, there ain't no strength in hair. There's a lot of strength in your heart. Definitely not in the hair. And my hair is almost to my butt. Wow, dude, that's fucking long, girl. Or guy. I mean, I'm assuming you're a girl. Yeah, dude, I love it. When you can get hair down to your butt, that's pretty fucking awesome. Because, you know, it always looks cool. It's like, there's this period, it's a weird, there's an awkward period between short hair and then having kind of long hair. And then an awkward period between having kind of long hair and really long hair, where it's like almost too long and weird. I don't know. It's hard to explain if you haven't had really long hair. You know what I'm talking about, though. If it's down to your ass, you know what I'm talking about. Early Beatles stuff was meh. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I did like some of them. Rocky Raccoon and stuff like that. There was a few of them, but that's just because of my own nostalgia. And that's the thing about music. It's not that music is always good. It's your own nostalgia. Dude, I listen to some dubstep. I've been to like 2 or 3 Excision concerts by myself because I like Excision. I like listening to dubstep. I like, you know, some techno. I went to see Insane Clown Posse by myself. Fucking one of the oldest people there, probably. Loved it. They had wheelbarrows full of fucking Faygo, 2 liters of Faygo soda. They just smashed it. They just shake them up and smash them on. And I remember one flying out and just nailing this chick in the head, and people getting knocked out by Faygo. I was like, dude, I went home sticky as hell. It was a blast. Had a fucking great time. I love concerts. Rage Against the Machine. Yeah, they did kind of suck early on, but they were still at least political enough, so their lyrics stood through. That's a good thing. Well, maybe I'm not thinking early enough. I don't know. I've made thousands of songs, but I feel like jamming with real people is different. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, dude, I played... If you haven't heard, I'm not going to brag about it, but my brothers and I, you know, our band, I've uploaded several of our albums onto YouTube. I think we did 2 or 3. Well, our early stuff was called First in Line, but the second one was called Time to Spare. And I have, I think, 2 of our albums uploaded. But I know that I haven't heard one in a really long time, so I'm going to have to double check if I ever did. But, yeah, we played live quite a few times, and we had a great time. That's where I learned about the Burning Man place, the Soak, the regional Burning Man. And we jammed, we wrote songs, my brother and I clicked, and our drummer clicked with us. He played the Moog synthesizer. It was really cool. Had a great time. Dun, dun. Thousands on Ableton? Yeah, there's a lot on Ableton, that's for sure. Are you 7 feet tall? DJ Carpo? No, I'm 6'3", almost 6'2.5" or something. DJ Carpo, actually, I did DJ at my friend's party once. It's funny, I have 2 turntables and a microphone. I actually have 4 turntables, or 5, but I used to have these 2 matching tables, and some of the first records I got were like Eminem, when it first came out, the, what was it, the Marshall Mathers EP? No. See, I always forget the names. It was the one with the, yeah, oh God, my fault. Anyway, the point being that I got that and some other rap records and like Medeski, Martin and Wood and stuff like that, and I would like scratch them. And it's so funny, some of the early records I'd learned to scratch on were like, turned out to be like really expensive now, like Modest Mouse. I had like one of the original copies of Modest Mouse, Moon in Antarctica, as well as Long Strange Trip. And they're both worth like a fortune now. $500 and shit if they're like, you know, in good condition. I was like, but it doesn't matter, you know, I wouldn't sell them anyway. So, where was I here? Hunter-gatherers in the Amazon are always an interesting thing to think about. That'd be pretty cool. Actually, when my kids get older, my wife and I have talked about traveling, doing some shit like, fucking that would be really cool to like go explore and see what it's like to just live with the tribe for a while. It's not as far-fetched as people think. If you have a dream, just do it, right? Andre says, "What up, Carpo?" Hey, Andre, how you doing? Okay, uncontacted tribes. Yes, exactly. He's 8 feet tall. No, I'm 9'7", bro. Message retracted. Wonk, 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 wonk. Okay, here's an interesting question. As a philosopher, I'm constantly worried about saying something that may have a big influence on someone who is not ready. Should we worry about the consequences? Well, of course you should, my friend. We always need to worry about the consequences, but it doesn't mean you can't share your opinion, in my opinion. See, me giving you my opinion makes me feel like it's out of my place because you already have an opinion on. You're a pretty good philosopher. You understand shit. Your logic, yeah, you get it, man. But I know what you're saying, especially if people are young. I'm very careful not to influence people who are younger than me too much, unless I just say, think for yourself. In other words, as long as you follow it with, I don't know shit, and you're honest about that, and you don't pretend like you know what you're talking about all the time, most people are smart enough to get it, I think. That's my opinion. Ronan says, we're looking at getting a place off-grid, bro. Want to be self-sustaining. With all that's going on, I figured it was the time to start looking. Grow a nice crop. Yeah, hunt and fish. Get solar panels. Fuck yeah. I got my school bus out there. My wife and I have talked about buying a plot of land. I want like 15, 20 acres. I have to have a stream in it. I want to have some trees. I want to be able to harvest some of the trees to build a log cabin, things like that. It's a dream of ours too. And of course you have to pay property tax, land tax, whatever, buy the land. You're always going to be part of the system, but right now, I just think it would be nice to have that option. Even if I don't move out there completely, at least to have the option to move out away from this place, drive the bus out, park it somewhere, or buy a second bus. I love school buses, but yeah, dude, that sounds great. It'd be great. I'm a juggalo. Nice. Yeah, I get fucking juggalos. I understand. I do. I don't think juggalos are a fucking terrorist organization. I thought that was hilarious when the government tried to declare them some terrorist group. Look, people are angry about a lot of shit right now. Okay? I don't even want to talk about politics, but honestly, it's not about politics as far as presidents. Please let that shit go. It's about politics as humans. We're all trying to face some fucked up shit. People react in their own ways. We celebrate in our own ways. When people see Burning Man, they think we're just as crazy as fucking people at a fucking ICP concert. It's and I've been to both, right? So I get it. And I go to Grateful Dead shows and Fish concerts. We're freaks. We're weirdos, dude. We run around with weird costumes on and shit. And people run around naked. And we just don't give a shit because we're human beings. We understand that. But you know what? Even the people who consider themselves conservatives and hardcore right-wingers and stuff, they've got shit like down in California, their little gathering at the God, it's been so long since I've even thought about that. The owl and the God damn it, it's where all the rich fucks go, and they have their little ceremonies every year. And I remember Alex Jones broke it years ago, but it was already well known because it was something that was well documented. They do weird shit. People do weird shit. People are weird, and humans are weird. So my point being that we're all a little bit weird, and juggalos are just as weird as anybody else. They say that the native Indians that had long hair because it connected them to the earth and allowed them to track more efficiently because they say it acts as an antenna. Yeah, I don't believe that though. That's just my opinion, of course, but I would not be surprised if that was true in some way. I mean, I have heard that. Similar, there are so many different tribes. It makes you wonder, it's sad. I don't even want to think about it, actually. Is the knife to the ground thing a myth? I have no idea. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Where'd you get the name Carpo from? Oh, you can't ask that shit. Oh, man. All right, Carpo. No, if you look it up, it will say a moon of Jupiter or a Greek goddess, right? Well, the truth is, we play this game when we were a kid. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of 10,000. We play it with dice. the game we made that it was kind of a university game that was played with college kids. It was called Zonk, and it was like 10,000, but instead of dice, instead of getting every 1,000 points, you take a bong hit. And if you fuck up your dice roll, if you do any mistakes, it's called a spaz. Or if you wait too long for your turn, it's a space. You start getting really baked and you can't play very well. It was fun. Point being that to play the game, the idea was my friend said, well, you just come up with the first name that comes to your mind. The first word that comes to your mind, don't think about it. And I just said, Carpo. That was it. And 719 was my old address when I was playing that game. Carpo 719, there you go. Means really nothing. It wasn't until years later where they named a moon of Jupiter they discovered Carpo. So, the moon was named after I named myself. Therefore, no, I was not named after the Jupiter moon, but it was named after me. I'm famous. Slim Shady. Yes, of course. Can I ask you something? That's not a good question. Yes. I've been recently trying out canna. What's your experience with it? Interesting. I have some really good canna here that I got last year. I haven't tried it in a while. It's very mild. It can be good if you're anxious. Taking it sublingually can be interesting. Yeah. How do I send you something? Do you have Discord? No, I don't have Discord. I'm really kind of not very tech savvy. I don't have really any of the other sites except YouTube, so I don't know what you mean by send me something. If you mean email, it's carpo420@comcast.net. If you mean address, I can send that to you, I guess. The more you learn, the more you realize, the more you know. Yep. I want chickens for eggs. Yeah, I've been thinking about doing that for a while, and I just don't want dead chickens. You know what I mean? I don't want a bunch of dead chickens to have to deal with, and I've had enough dead pets in my time to where I'm like, I'll just buy them from the store and plead ignorance. That sounds kind of harsh, I know, but I know a lot of you know what I mean. Thanks for the gardens. I know, but it helps to hear what another thinker thinks. Yeah, I know what you mean. I would never dare ask another thinker for help because I'm too smart and stubborn. No, I'm kidding. I I resort to a lot of different places for knowledge. I don't feel like I'm that intelligent. The thing is, when I started my channel, for example, I thought I was pretty smart. Smarty pants, Smarty McPants Carpo. And I realized over the years that I'm not as smart as I thought it was. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect has run its course with me. When I was really young, I thought I was just, all these people are dumbasses. And it wasn't. I went through my rounds in my 30s, and now I'm 45 almost. And the Dunning-Kruger effect says the less you know, the more you think you know. And it's just a fact. You go over this curve and you go, oh, and then you're back to like saying, okay, I don't know shit. And that's okay. It's okay to admit. It's okay to know you don't know shit. And I'm okay with not knowing as much as I think I know. I love to give advice, but I want to give earthly advice. If I know all the scientific facts and details about something, it means maybe I'm out of touch with something else. We only have so much energy to focus on life, right? On our humanity, if you will. Can you ever own something if you pay property taxes? It's a good question. I've always wondered that too. I don't know. I swish it in my mouth. The real question is, are you willing to live in a tree? Nope, not me. Bohemian Strove. Oh, you mean Grove. Yes, Bohemian Grove. Thank you. Yes, all the rich people and the presidents, they all go to Bohemian Grove. They have this big ceremony, and I've heard they have a bunch of naked kid prostitutes running around. Teenagers, maybe, 18, 20. I don't know the details. Could be younger. There's weirdos out there, and I don't want to talk about that because that's nasty. Yeah, Bohemian Grove, yeah. Law Enforcement Child Endangerment Task Force. Yeah, I'm really, really, really trying to avoid those things. I made a video a couple of years ago about that kind of shit, child trafficking, and I just can't touch that subject. People are so sensitive about it. It's really impossible to talk about anything sometimes. The answer about the Carpo name, it means nothing, but that experience on how you got the name means everything it needs to. Yeah. Well, it means a lot to me, but I just mean it was a simple way I got it. It wasn't like a huge, it was just like came out of the back of my mind. So I guess I invented it in a way for myself. So, do your kids look like you? Oh man, that's weird. I don't show my kids on my videos or my wife. Of course, my wife's shy. I'm kind of shy too. I understand that. My kids don't really look like me. I don't think. I have a I think I have a couple videos from a while back, but anyway, I'll post something down the line of them. I have my son in my school bus telling me, pretending he's like, I'm Carpo, and he was in front of the camera. It was really funny, but that was a few years back. They're just getting so big so fast, so they kind of look like me, I guess. I don't know. Are you going to take the vaccine if Joe Biden makes it mandatory? Or your corrupt state officials try to infringe on your individual freedom and make it mandatory? Well, I'd like to say most state officials have their moments. My brother and I talked about this. When you say my my corrupt state officials, I assume you're talking about Jay Inslee, or the fact that Washington State had mandatory lockdowns, but they weren't mandatory. They were actually mandatory for certain businesses, but we took care of ourselves because we have a good revenue. Our state takes care of its people, and we're getting back to work now, and we didn't suffer immensely. And so my guess is that, there was no mandatory vaccine. Nobody's ever said they're going to make a mandatory vaccine. So therefore, my state officials are not corrupt, and there is no mandatory vaccine. So I don't know what else to say about that. Meaning a lot when you make it so much more to me, and I'm saving so many viewers. Perhaps. Well, I like to share that kind of stuff with people. Yeah, state officials in general, but yeah, if I said, huh? I'm 22. What is it like being 45? Yeah, I always wonder how old my subscribers are. Going through your 20s, 30s, and 40s. Anyway, I wondered and sometimes have anxiety thinking about it. Don't have anxiety, just embrace the moment. I met my wife when we were 22, 23, okay? Now I'm almost 45. We've been together for almost 22 years. The first 5 years went by kind of fast. The next 5 years, a little faster. The next 15 years, holy shit. I'm telling you, it goes by really fast. You'll hear that from everybody. Everyone tells you this. It's going to go by really fast. Coffee's so good. We Americans drink coffee, not tea. We're tough. We dump that tea off of ships. Yeah, I don't know. What's it like being 45? Let me just tell you this. From what I've heard, there's also a happiness curve. When you reach 45, you're in your mid 40s, it's supposed to be the lowest part of your life for a lot of people. That's where a lot of people hit their midlife crisis. I've had a rough time the last year. Maybe I've abused my privileges with substances once in a while too much, but I've been very cautious. I don't get wasted. I have a family, so I have shit to do. I'm not irresponsible when it comes to like getting drunk and stumbling around and fucking my family up. It's like we have a normal life as far as normal can be. But it has been rough lately. And what I've heard is that when you get older, once that responsibility falls off your shoulders and you've worked your way through and you said, well, I'm coming to my golden years, then, and the kids are older, they're kind of gone. My wife and I have never been able to go travel because we've always had kids. When I met her, she had a 3-year-old son. So my oldest son is 25, he's my stepson. And then my other kids, right when he became like 17 and he was kind of doing his own thing, we had other, them. And, it's been great. I love being a dad. I mean, that's part of life. That's what I wanted to do. But at the same time, I say, well, once at least we'll still be able to go out and travel later once we get older and just travel the world. So that's my hopes anyway. Unless I die before then, and I sure fucking hope not. But so when you say, Andre, you have anxiety thinking about it, it's natural. I had anxiety into my early and mid 30s. You have to control it from here, dude. control it, for real. You can't let it control you. Law Enforcement Child Endangerment Task Force monitors this channel. I trust my immune system. Took millions of years of research. I don't know what state you live in, bro. I live in Washington State. Washington State was the first state to actually do something about this fucking virus. Therefore, we're the first state that's actually fucking had results, and now we're back to normal. If you look at the map of COVID issues, it's all on the East Coast and the South. Places where they just ignored everything. People like us were wearing masks months and months and months ago, way before this shit got out of hand. And now you go to the store, it's all normal, there's no issues, the hospitals are fine. And I know, a lot of people like to blame the government for, irresponsible lockdowns and shit. And I'm sorry if I sound arrogant, but it's like, dude, our state did fucking phenomenal. Washington State has kicked some ass with this virus. So, I'm proud of my governor, and I think he's done a goddamn good job. Let's see. I've been living in my small Class B RV for the past 6 months, and it's only felt like 2. Yeah, dude, fucking time's flying, man. It's pretty nuts. It's pretty fucking nuts. Time has flown really quick lately. Frank, have you ever met any fans in public? Just randomly. Was someone who recognized you from your videos? It's the funniest question. I was coming home from camping one time, and I stopped at a Thriftway grocery store at a very tiny town like Stevenson in the Columbia Gorge on my way home from in the middle of nowhere. And this guy's like, Carpo? And it was really weird. It took me back because nobody calls me Carpo except on my channel. Well, my friends do, but I'd never seen this guy. I was like, yeah. He's like, oh man, I watch your channel all the time. We shook hands, talked. He was like, yeah, he's a little younger than me. It was really weird. Then I left with my family. We went home. About 6 months later, I was at the county fair. I reluctantly went to the fair with my kids, Clark County Fair, and this is like 50 miles from the other place. Ran into the same guy with his family and shit. He's like, Harpo? It's like, oh, it was just really, really strange. So yes, that guy. And then I was going to a concert with my wife, and we're standing in line to go to, what was it? I think it was Down the Rabbit Hole or some psychedelic event that they had at the Crystal Ballroom like months ago. Or maybe it was Modest Mouse. God, I can't even remember. But this guy's like, hey, is your name Carpo? And he just moved here from another state. He didn't know anybody, and he just had watched my videos living in Missouri or something, and that just tripped me out. So, yeah, I've met 2 people, one twice and one once. So, yeah, thanks for asking. It kind of reminded me. I hope those dudes are still out there doing well, because I love meeting people, especially people that know me, but it's really weird because I don't know them. So, I'm 42 on November 18th. I feel great. Nice. Yeah, I feel great too. Actually, this is a good time, a good time in my life. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed my life. I really have. You're a dad that actually loves and teaches their kids about the world because you have an open mind. Most parents can't take responsibility over the fact they have to raise their kids properly. Yeah, a lot of kids pawn it off on the school system. That's why they're pissed off right now. Fortunately, we have phenomenal schools in my state. I mean, I am so grateful. We have high as fuck property tax, okay? And that's what pays for schools. It sucks, but the government is evil as fuck. That's just really a very blanket, pointless statement that doesn't mean anything to me, no offense. The government is part of a human system. I made a video about this earlier. It's like human systems have been created and supported. If everyone thought that, then there would be such a revolt. The reason there isn't is because the alternative is roving lunatics and gangs of idiots. We have a government that doesn't always function properly in the way we want it to, and I hate supporting it. I fucking hate government. But at the same time, I understand it's necessary in today's world. It's just like people who say, oh, we don't need a military, right? This military is part of government. So if you get rid of the military, you get invaded. And what are you going to do? Hold off people with a baseball bat and an AK? I mean, It's true. I've been to many hospitals in Washington since it started for my mother. All hospitals were nearly empty recently. Yeah, I mean, so far, I mean, COVID, I can't believe people are just still making this some stupid, joke out of it. It's like there's protests everywhere over all the wrong things, right? Not, I mean, I'm not talking about the protests, over racial injustice because those I agree with. I'm just saying, protesting over having to wear masks and shit. It's like, oh my God, give me a break. Proud of my government. I'm on a whole different chapter then. That's cool. You can be on whatever chapter you want, my friend. I didn't say I was proud. I said that I'm proud of my state for the efforts that they've made. It's not a government, it's the people. We voted these people in, man. We do the best we can. I don't like a school board either or anything else, but, what's the alternative? I mean, let me know. Most have been empty through this pandemic scam. Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, COVID's a big scam. Why don't you tell us all about how it's all just going to be a big fake pandemic? Please. Gag on my fucking spoon. Let's have a joint. Ah! Yeah, let's do that. Let's smoke out. Because COVID's fake. Oh. Alex Jones told me that it was all fake. I'm just totally fucking with you, man. I don't really care what people believe anymore. I'm way past that now. I'm done. I've seen that at least enough of America can see through Trump's bullshit to get rid of his sorry ass. So now watch my viewership drop off. Clink, 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 clink. I'm just fucking around. We gotta let it go. It's all good. Gotta ask more questions, people, or he will sign off. No, you don't. I ain't gonna sign off, dude. I'm enjoying this. It's fun. But in America, government is people. That's exactly right. And we have to remember that. That's why people will tell you your vote doesn't matter, but it does. But it doesn't. But it does. It's complicated. It is evil at its very foundation. Government is not eloquence. It is not reason. It's not force. It's fire. It's dangerous and servant and the fearful master. Yeah, I agree with you in principle, but not in practice. Government in today's world is because we have digital buttons that can be pushed which can annihilate entire countries. It's not like it was even 100 years ago. Things have changed so much that we need leadership or we're fucked. And what I've seen with Trump is not that I hate the other half of my country. I say I understand them now. I say people need that kind of leadership. They want a commanding leader, and if that's so be it, then fine. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as that leader's doing the right thing, right? I mean, that's what's important. So I'm not going to, go into details on that one, but okay, there's a power vacuum. If somebody isn't in charge, somebody else will be. It's always been that way. That's why when the U.S. went into the Middle East, all we did was created a power vacuum for ISIS to form and no governments to fight them off. So I hate government, but it's necessary. It's a necessary evil in some ways. What's a recreational herb that you can't do because you like it too much? Herb? There's no herbs that I can't do. There's no recreational herbs that I feel guilty doing at all. I smoke weed all the time. That's really what I like. But there are certain drugs. If you're talking about drugs, if there's one that I like it too much that I couldn't do, it would be probably amphetamines. Maybe Oxycontin or like Vicodin or, pills, to be brutally honest, because I know they're addictive, so I don't touch them. I haven't touched amphetamines in years, but they can be fun. You can stay up, you can dance, you can do all kinds of fun shit. It's great, but they fuck you up and they're bad for your body. And I haven't touched them in like 15 years, so. Well, at least 10 years. I don't know. It's been quite a while. I can't believe I've been on here for an hour and a half. I've never done that before. It's called Freedom and Liberty. I've never worn a mask. Oh, well, that's cool. 99.97. Okay, dude, I'm just not going to go there. Yes, COVID has been blown out of proportion from White Shadow. I totally agree on that. It has been blown out of proportion. Here's the thing. Every government takes a real crisis and they adapt it to suit their own needs. In Nigeria, areas in South Africa, they've been taking this and they've been using it as a way to curb rights. Australia, a lot of these people can't even get home. COVID has made governments fucking corrupt as shit, but it's still a real fucking virus. I'm not worried about it, okay? And I don't even want to talk about COVID. What I'm saying is that our state has done well, and therefore we're getting back to business and we have a normal workload. When your hospitals are overflowing, it's very difficult for your nurses to function, okay? And that's important for people to remember. So yes, it's been blown out of proportion for a while, and definitely people should have not have to lock down anymore. But it should be, at least if you're a human being that wants to care about your neighbors, and you want to go to your grandma's house not wearing a mask, you're a jerk, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? You can be a jerk if you want. You'll see eventually. Sure. Okay. We try to convince, commitment and sacrifice to build something that lasts and inspires others to build upon it. You're damn right it does. Sometimes we try to convince instead of express. That's true. That's true. Once the lockdowns come back and the economy is destroyed, LOL at Alex Jones. Yeah. Alex Jones is a douchebag. I followed him for like 15 years, actually. There was a book I read back in 98 called Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. And he addressed all of these conspiracies from the government to, deals with aliens and all this stuff. A lot of it's probably true. But a lot more of it is complete bullshit over the years I've learned. Once the internet became available, you find out a lot of this stuff is just complete nonsense. And so, I've really learned a lot of valuable lessons about conspiracies and what's true and what's not and how to identify bullshit. And I can't even argue the points anymore. A store is under private ownership and therefore private property. If a business mandate you wear a mask, you must do so or leave. Otherwise, it's trespassing. Yes, thank you, Phil. That's exactly it. When people say that they won't wear a mask in a business, what you're doing is you're saying that you are, and this is for Kill Your Television, what you're saying is that if you say, I won't wear a mask, that's fine. If you say you won't wear a mask in a store, what you're basically saying is, I won't follow the rules of a business, which is a legitimate American company that has worked its way to build itself into what America considers to be a success and has an American right and a legitimate right to have their own rules. If you don't wear a mask, it's like not wearing underwear and pants and a shirt and shoes. There are rules, and regardless of whether you believe in those or not, adults have to follow rules from corporations that decide. And in our case, those were chosen by the store. It wasn't mandated. It was requested, and it was asked, and people did because people are adults. Kill him with your perspective for the most part, but there's no battle to win here. Carp will have his perspective. Well, of course I will. I don't agree with the lockdown. Like I've said, I really don't. I don't think that they should have any lockdowns, but we haven't had any here since the very beginning, and I think they kind of fucked up. The idea was a short lockdown while they got the tests. The federal government failed to deliver. So we just moved on, and now it's time to get away with it without a lockdown, and that's what we have to do. A lot of ICUs are getting full. Yes, they really are, and it's ridiculous that people are still stupid about this, because we have people from Idaho being sent to Portland right now. Okay, I live in, and somebody just said ICU beds in Portland are 86% full. People are being sent here from Idaho a couple weeks ago, and I was telling my wife, I was like, oh, this is great. The people in Idaho, the fucking rednecks that won't pay attention. No offense. I have friends that are rednecks, okay, I get it. It's a very red state. I get it. But I was like, wow, so they don't pay attention in their own city, and then they get sent to Portland. And somebody was like, but don't you care about other people? I'm like, of course I do. I'm just being half sarcastic. It's like, come on. We all have to work together to hear. Those are the people that weren't wearing masks. Just please consider it. It's not about me changing my opinion. It's about fucking people being adults. That's all. Just don't be so negative, bro. Just fucking be cool, man. Just fucking take a bong hit. Do you need some weed or something? Oh man, God, I'm gonna fucking leave if I have to deal with this shit. Since he's on video, there will be no way to respond to his response. Well, you don't need to. I'm reading every comment. That's not free market. Phil H. Are you smoking indica or sativa? I don't know. It's the one I grew from that seed. I don't know what kind it is, but it tastes kind of good. I think I'm going to load another bowl. Let's get this little jar out again. Pretty absurd, really. Some hits taste better than others. Not all. Some mandated that prior to government, but I do understand the position. That's exactly it. Well, ours weren't mandated, but we did what we could do. And it does suck. Dude, look, this is new to all of us, okay? This virus is not as 99.9%. Look, you might believe that. My belief is that this virus overall in America, once it's said and done, will have at least a 3% fucking mortality rate, okay? Now, you may be completely right, and I may be completely wrong. Shit, my desk is falling apart because this thing's falling out. The beautiful desk I said I built. You may think that it's 99.97%. I believe that it is 97%. There's a 30 times difference between our beliefs and our math. 97% is a reasonable estimate for a disgusting, sick society like America, where everybody's obese and eats McDonald's and doesn't take fucking any care of themselves. That sounds harsh, but it's true. And I'm not worried about getting sick. My family is healthy. In fact, O blood types are probably, they say they don't even get very sick. We're all O positive and O negative as far as we know. So I just care about my neighbors and my mom and the elderly. And I know a lot of people don't. I know a lot of people even suggested to kill the elderly. But at this point, I've realized in retrospect that yes, you're right. We should not have shut down. We really shouldn't have. We should have had a legitimate, competent fucking federal government that took care of business, got the tests out, and let us continue working. And then sent us any checks while we were shut down if we needed to in certain areas. They couldn't do that because they were too busy infighting and throwing out their best experts. And now Fauci is the big enemy that's getting death threats. It's just pathetic. We're living in a really weird time right now. So that's how I feel it. Anyway, the evil government we voted for. Yeah, that's exactly it. If you don't vote, you don't vote. But if you do, you do. It's just not worth arguing about. I mean, I'm trying to get along with people here. I'm really trying to move together instead of saying, ha ha, fuck you, Trump supporters are a bunch of dumb fucking morons marching in the streets saying it's an illegitimate election. You're un-American because you're questioning our process. Because it's not true. You probably care if you're a Trump supporter about what happened, about what's happening, and you think, oh my God, we got cheated. I'm sorry, but the math shows that it's different, and it's not worth fighting anymore. It's really worth just kind of getting over all of that. But also our differences in policies and, laws about, say, cannabis. Finally, cannabis was legalized in almost every place where it passed almost everywhere, from what I understand, that they had, it voting for. Where are we at here? I don't even know how many comments are left. I agree COVID is definitely real and worse than the flu, but do you think lockdowns are the best solution at this point? No. Hopefully, I guess I'm way behind on comments, huh? Were you ever a gamer? No, but I did play a lot of fucking Mario Brothers and a lot of Zelda in the dark when I was a kid, and a lot of Asteroids when I was young with my dad, so a lot of Red Dead Redemption when my kid was sleeping when he was a baby. So I had moments where I was a gamer. And we played, Resident Evil, my friend and I, for like a week trying to win that when it first came out. Behold a Pale Horse. Yeah, that's a crazy one. Where are we at? Slave mask. Oh, what happened here? I'm getting way behind on comments. Is that what's going on here? I'm trying. Talking about Kratom. The election has been rigged many, many years now. It's nothing new. Yeah. I don't care at this point. like I said, I mentioned this the other day. When we're talking about the election and politics, I think that the American people have voted, and I trust the system just enough to realize that with all the different states reporting on their own, including red states and blue states, what happened happened. There's absolutely no reason that you shouldn't trust that the system at least can decide between two individuals. So let's say that the whole thing is rigged. What matters most is the character. And if we don't have a belligerent moron in there, and we just have a guy, even if he sleeps for 4 years, I told my wife, even if Joe Biden sleeps for 4 fucking years, I could care less. I just want boring politics back and somebody who shows, even feigns empathy. You get it? I mean, did you see how many people were partying in the streets the other day? Not protesting and screaming, partying, dancing. Think about all the people who said that Trump's going to be the one to stop the protests in Portland. Guess what? They stopped for the first time in like fucking months because he lost. People are just sick of a dictator. And Trump is a piece of shit. He's a dictator. That's how I feel about it. I mean, there's nothing else I can really say about that. And that's just how I feel, in all brutal honesty. Hi, Carpo, a fellow from Ukraine. I really enjoy watching your videos in the morning before starting the day. Good stuff. Well, thanks. I'm glad you listened. You know, that's why I'm doing podcasts now, because then people can at least listen to that on their own and not have to watch my ugly face. It's easier for me to look at the camera for some reason. It's very strange. I don't know why. Yeah. Yeah, everybody's a little bit corrupt in politics, all right? Did you ever play a 300? No. A 3DO? What's a 3DO? No, I did not. No, I don't know what that is. I don't think so. I didn't. I have played some games, but I don't know. I feel like my friend asked me the other day, he's like, don't you have a PS4? Let's play Red Dead Redemption 2, you know? And I was like, we don't have a PS4 here. We have two PS3s, but we don't play very often. My kids like playing some of the games. I got them a racing game the other day and stuff, but I don't know. For me, it's always a waste of time. When you're raising kids, you don't have time to just sit around and play games. A dad should not just sit and play video games. A dad should lock himself away in his back office and make a live stream at night instead. With the clogged bong. Oh well. It's probably a good thing. When it gets clogged, it means that it's time to just, you know, I'll probably have to hang up the handle. It's been an hour and 47 minutes, which I mean, I'm guessing means it's probably late. And that's cool because, you know, life and stuff and, you know, what else is there to do? Um, all right. All stuff ruffling your feathers, Carpo. No, dude, no, I'm not sweating it in the least. I mean, you could talk politics, it just clogs it up with just bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes I'm just done on all this shit. You know, I'm really done with COVID, done with talking about all these things. I've had my moments on YouTube to talk about them, but yeah, like somebody just said, came here to get away from watching stuff on COVID and the election. Exactly. That's kind of where I'm at. You know, we're all good people here. You know, and if there's anything I could say, do you like Ween? Fuck yeah, I like Ween. I bought this box set of theirs. It's great. White Pepper and Country Greats and yeah, can't remember the other one now. But I like Ween. You know, there's so much shit going on in the world, but what's more important, you know? Politics or our own personal lives, you know? It's I don't know. Hmm. It's very strange because I know that most people mean well. I know that most people in the world want the same thing. They just want to live their lives in peace without being fucked with. I think what the big difference between a lot of people is when it comes to politics, if you want to talk about just, you know, blunt differences, it's some people have a strong empathy towards all people and some people don't. And it's not always the case. But there are a lot of people who really don't give a shit about anybody else who's not in their group. And that's understandable because it's like human nature. I made this video earlier. It was about human nature, and I was just when I was getting to the good part where really wanted to expand, like my camera said, "Oh, it's too slow for the recording speed." So I decided I was going to make a podcast instead. Then I ended up doing this instead. But I'll probably upload it as a podcast as well because I have my microphone over here. But talking about life is, I don't know. Everybody can relate. We all have these same weird, especially when you're talking with somebody else who does psychedelics. It's such a, I don't know, it's a weird feeling. Especially looking somebody in the eye who's tripping. I just want to say, people who do psychedelics are never shy about it. And people who do hard drugs usually hide it. And there's something to be said about that. Like, as the same thing with stoners. You see people wearing a pot leaf on their shirt, right? That was really popular in the 90s, right? But in the 60s, of course. But you never see a person wearing a shirt with a line of coke on it or, a needle, right? Because you just feel instinctually like it's shameful to do certain things, and we know better. And that's why I've been able to stay away from certain drugs. And I urge anybody out there you know, who gets themselves hooked, and it's not just the hard drugs like that. It's OxyContin. It's fucking any opioids. Stay the fuck away from them. Stay away from all that shit. I know that people talk about kratom like it's some evil plant sometimes, but compared to those things, it's a godsend, man. Kratom's been an amazing tool for me, personally. Kratom. Very good. Very good. You don't even know if that's acceptable anymore. I guess it's not racist because Russians are white, right? Yeah. The PC police come after everybody, right? Interesting times, as I said. Okay, where were we? Yep, I think that's about it. I might have to go soon. I've got like 10 minutes left, I guess. If anybody has any questions, I'll answer those, but I don't think anybody has questions. We're all having fun. What do you know about iridology? Iridology. You know what's funny? I don't know anything about iridology, but I'm trying to guess what it means. Irid. Does it have to do with light or reflection of light? Refraction of light? Iridology. Iridology. It might have to do with light. I don't know. You'll have to tell me. I don't know anything about it. But thank God, really glad they moved. Claimed I was racist. Humans are tribal for real. Yes, they are. Yes, we are. And it's okay. Being tribal is good. The thing is, tribes have been able to exist side by side for fucking thousands of years. That's the thing people don't realize. When people say we're too tribal, I've realized even people separating into racial groups by their own accord and decision, and this is a very controversial opinion, of course, unpopular opinion. Blacks want to live with blacks, whites want to live near whites, and Mexicans want to live near Mexicans. I mean, it's common fucking sense. And people make a big deal about it like it's some PC thing that you can't talk about. No, it doesn't mean that we can't live with each other or near each other. It just means that by nature, most people want to congregate. We are tribal by nature because we enjoy our company of people who we relate with. And being tribal is good as long as we don't beat up on other tribes and talk shit about other tribes. That's the most important thing, in my opinion. Because the other tribes might be able to hook us up with fucking something that we don't even know we need, Like, everybody's got their place. Yeah. I'm thinking about the jungle, different tribes, different legitimate tribes sharing different herbs and roots and ideas, and it's just, yeah. A majority of the people on earth are good people and want to see good in the world, just everyone has different means to the end. Exactly. And the most important factor is do what you will. Do whatever you will, as long as no harm comes to any other because of your actions. Every action has a reaction. If your action causes harm to another, it's a failure, in my opinion. It's like when people talk about winning in the stock market. If you win big in the stock market, someone loses. You might think, no, not always. Well, of course. It's the shareholders. It's profit on top. It's the people, the consumers who end up paying the price. It's not always the case, but if you make, say, $20 billion on a stock investment, then you know somebody's losing. It's got to be the guy who's working on the phone making no pennies, 6 cents a day or something in some other country to make your cell phone, or the one I'm using right now. It's depressing shit, but it's reality. Oh, there we go. I'm live again. Okay. Taking pictures of the eye and reading the iris. Okay, yes. Okay, I've seen that. To check for anything wrong with your body. I've heard of iridology now. I remember that. Yes, and I looked into it, and from what I understand, it's bullshit. And I'm a fucking super skeptic. So I'll look to any evidence to the contrary, email it to me. I've looked at many different websites, and I think iridology, or at least looking at the eye to determine sickness, it might have some legitimacy, but it's kind of scary because when you start believing that something might be able to, I've heard of people being diagnosed incorrectly, and it scares the shit out of people. And I believe in placebo effect, and I believe in nocebo effect, and I believe you can manifest illness if you believe that you're sick. So if somebody reads your eyeball and tells you you're sick, then you're probably going to get sick. It's weird. How about Measure 100 in Oregon? I'm not familiar with Measure 100. I don't know if you're talking about 110. Yeah, 110. Yeah, I'm fucking all on board. I think that the whole nation should just decriminalize all drugs. Um, it worked in Portugal. It'll work here. People, drugs are available. People don't realize. They think that having a law actually prevents drugs. The war on drugs was just to fill up prisons. Nixon wanted to keep people and anti-war protesters, down. So making drugs hard crimes and hard drugs. I mean, in the late 70s, they made all the drugs illegal, LSD, everything. Anything that had been re-legalized was made illegal again. It was a horrible time for partiers, right? Um, but the worst, Class A felony, I mean, it's ridiculous, right? I mean, I've had 2 of them, okay? And just for possessing weed once and for possessing mushrooms another time. And it makes you wonder, like, there's people getting away with murder and rape with lesser charges. People who get methamphetamine or cocaine charges have lesser charges. It's absolutely crazy the difference in how drugs are treated in this world, but it disgusts me. It really does. But anyway, 110 is fine. What it's going to do is keep people out of prisons. You have a choice of a $100 fine, and if you don't want to pay that, then you go to get an assessment to see if you want treatment, and it's an optional kind of thing. Nobody goes to jail for personal amounts of any drug. Bam. Let's go pick some mushrooms. Cultural appropriation. I don't believe in cultural appropriation. Thanks for bringing that up, Andre. Burning Man had a big issue about that. People were wearing headdresses, and it became an issue where people were getting harassed all the time for wearing a headdress. And I personally, in my heart, feel like it's bullshit. I think that if you're just being proper, you can't determine what a person's, intention is. So I think everything that I'm wearing, everything that you're wearing, all the shit that we're using, it's all culturally appropriated from someone or some group or whatever it might be. Everything is appropriated from a culture that made it, and I guess I don't believe in it. I think it's bullshit. Uh, I do respect if somebody says, please don't wear that, like headdress, right? That would be an exception, or that's a particular warrior's headdress. You shouldn't wear that one. That's a different story. And I understand sensitivity, but we are way too triggered in this society. It's time to move forward. Decriminalization, yep, for everything. The whites will have your head. The whites will have your head. Crybabies get the most change? No, I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what that means. Monitors this. Oh, God. What is that? Child protect. Who are you? Why do you even fucking put... I don't get it. I don't understand why people would post something like Law Enforcement Child Endangerment Task Force. Didn't you just change your name from something else? You're weird. What? People are just creepy. You know, that's kind of creepy. That's one of the reasons why being online is just stupid, because it's like, you know, God, there's people like you just posting the weirdest shit like that. We seem to have a lot in common. Carpo, you're a fan of my vinyl. Oh, dude, I have so many records. I'd love to share them, but I don't want to get them dusty, so it'd have to be just at the right moment. Damn it. Coffee's cold. I hate that. Well, I'm gonna go. It's already... Oh, it just hit 2 hours. That's crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if YouTube just shut it off. I've never talked this long. Tribalism. Yep, it's important shit to understand, I guess. Hey, Carpo, I'm 18 and have been using Kratom for 4 years. I had some regrets about it. Although it's not to demonize the plant, what do you think about its non-medical use? Define medical use. That sounds kind of arrogant, but honestly, Kratom for me has been an amazing tool. I've used it when I was stressed out and anxious in my late 30s, mid 30s, and it really helped me overcome anxiety and kind of depression and keep me motivated for work. And then I fucked my back up at work in construction. And at that point, then it also helped me with my sciatica. It was the only thing that would help. It helped better than morphine pills my friend gave me and shit. I was like, wow, this thing works way better than morphine. Um, so I used Kratom for years for that. Sometimes I couldn't even walk. But after that, I've been using Kratom for over 10 years every day. And people ask me, how much do you use? I'm kind of embarrassed to tell them too. Sometimes, you know, it's like, because I take about, I don't know, about 30 to 40 tablespoons a day. Um, you know. I forgot I was live. Oh, that's a total joke. No, I do not take 30 or 40 tablespoons a day. I take about maybe 3, you know. So like 18 to 20 grams sometimes, which is close to like 2/3 of an ounce at times, which is a lot. And then sometimes I'll take less. So today I've taken less. I should have played that off and be like, yeah, I take 40 tablespoons, about a half kilo a day. But no, Kratom, I love Kratom, and I haven't had any issues with it, so I have no fucking reason to quit. And maybe one day I will. I don't know. My thoughts on it, it's not an innocent plant. Any type of opiate can be addicted. Kratom withdrawals are a lot more mild. Exactly. Yes, exactly. In fact, yeah, somebody told me today, they're like, I stopped taking Kratom and I feel kind of weird and have a headache. You think it could be that? I'm like, yeah. And they reduced too, and they tapered down. You've just got to taper and be careful and take less and less. It's Are the risks worth the rewards? Are the rewards worth the risks, rather? Um, if you're going to take it, make sure that you have a reason to take it. That's all I can say. And if you can take it for a few years and then the only price you have to pay is a week or two of withdrawals, I mean, it's just like having a cold. Just, I've never found a reason to stop taking it personally. So it's not an actual opiate, but technically an opioid, not an opiate. Yeah, that's true. It's not even an opioid. Kratom has mitragynine and 7-hydroxymitragynine, which are not opioids. It was the FDA that declared them to be opioids. They are not opioids. They are similar to opioids, but they act differently. They don't act in the exact same way. They don't bind to the opioid receptor the way that opiates do, and they do not cause any type of respiratory depression the way that opiates do. So, therefore, Kratom is not the same. And it won't kill you the way that, opiates will. I agree about the tribes. My friend with chickens points out how the types tend to prefer to congregate with each other. You know, yeah, I believe that. It's fucking funny. Chickens are really smart. Birds are awesome like that. Crows are the same way. You ever notice how the crows get picked on by like the smaller birds? Crows are super smart. But all smaller birds like corvids are extremely smart. We have these blue jays that built a nest right next to our front door last year because they knew that they'd be protected because we were always nice to them. And they still come around, but birds are extremely smart. I wouldn't be surprised if chickens were fucking racists. You fucking racist chickens! God. The dose makes the poison. Being independent from substances keeps them recreational, and that's the name of the game. Yeah, that's true. That's true. God, fucking racist chickens. Now you got me thinking. Decriminalize drugs in the drug war. It's a war on the people. Yes, it is. Your family should be cleared. Yeah, maybe. I could probably go to Oregon and get one cleared, but I just don't deal with it because I don't care. How often do you take kratom? It's definitely a habit for me now. It's a habit for me too. I take about 5 grams 3 times a day. So maybe a little more or less. And I gotta grab a beer out of this mini fridge. Hold on. I love my little office here. It's great. I feel kind of guilty because my family, they're all asleep, of course, but anyway, this is my Total Domination IPA for the evening. No, they don't sponsor this fucking video. So, cultural appropriation is some radical crazy BS. It is. And, I can understand why people are sensitive about many, many years of... I saw, Chuck Schumer. I'm sure a lot of you know who Chuck Schumer is. And Nancy Pelosi were standing up wearing some African garb, introducing some African person. It was just the most pathetic thing I'd ever seen. And, yeah, I mean... It was hilarious when politicians try to wear that kind of shit. It's like, no, dude, no. If you're trying to wear a very specific tribal uniform or something, dude, it can be disrespectful. I get it. But cultural appropriation by just saying, oh, well, you're wearing a batik or some kind of weird, shirt. Oh, no, that's a certain tribe that, hey, you can't. Those are Polynesians, No, fuck you. No, I just don't buy it. I am not that far left, okay? Like, if this is center, I'm kind of like, well, wait, which side is left to you guys? I don't even know. Doesn't matter. Hopefully this is the beginning of the end of war on drugs. I agree with all the fucking legalizations that we got this time. Just these people that want to be offended at everything. It's true, but man, look, all I'm going to say about this is that on their behalf, the people who want to be offended at everything have often been offended a lot themselves, especially the gay community, which I know a lot of people don't approve of, and there's a lot of hatred towards them, or even people who are actually different colors who are protesting, and there's still a lot of racism that is hidden under the guise of just, oh, well, people should just go home and do their own, people out in the streets, in the amounts that there have been around the world, there's a serious issue going on and people need to listen to each other. That's my opinion on it. So a lot of people who are offended are really just pissed off at the bullshit and the treatment they've had. But at the same time, some people, a lot of spoiled white ass kids who never had anything happen to them will do what they've done to certain teachers and stuff, and they get extremely ridiculous. It's discussion. It's a really gross thing what's happening to people's sensitivity levels. So everybody's just got to get slapped a little bit, right? All of us. Yeah, the drug war is unconstitutional. You're goddamn right. It's the most unconstitutional thing ever. And I hate to say this, but it's, conservative agenda. This is the thing. This is why I actually understand the conservative viewpoint, but why is their agenda always have to do with more military funding and more funding against the people and their choices? You want to go in your home and eat mushrooms, you should be able to do that. That could change your life. And it makes you wonder, why do they care so much what we do? Because honestly, left-wing policies do tend to favor legalization a lot more than right-wing. And it's funny because then I look at the left and I think, oh my God, but you guys are the ones who are fighting for, don't want to get political. Remember? I remember now. Thank you for your thoughts. Well, you're welcome, Mark. I appreciate you listening to my thoughts. I think that everybody's coming around. I'm hoping that all libertarians, conservatives, and Democrats can really step over the line and just say, "Whoa, these people are fucking morons, all of them. These people have been in politics too long. Their minds don't understand what Americans need." It's pretty pathetic, honestly. Hope all's well, Carpo. Well, thank you, Tim. I hope all is well with you too. Thanks for the live stream. You're welcome. Yeah, yeah. You guys can leave anytime you want because I know you're getting sick of listening to me by now. Jesus Christ. I'm low on cash now, so I have to buy Kratom. Drinking. Ironic. Yeah, Kratom helps so much for everything. Yeah, it does. Let me just put it this way. I don't take Kratom at night. I can't wait till my first dose of Kratom, but I drink my coffee first. And I sit there and I vape and I look at the news or whatever I want to see, read a couple things on YouTube, and then, yeah, Kratom, it's like a treat. You know what I mean? It's almost like a dessert. It's my muffin with my coffee. So I love it. You know, Kratom has always been helpful, but I just don't overdo it. I never take more than a tablespoon. So usually what I do is I take a tablespoon and then I scoop it off to really lower. So I probably even take less than I think. It's kind of a mental thing, subconscious. Think I'm taking more than I am, if you will. But I don't want to say that out loud because I know I'm tricking myself. Because I know what happens if I take too much. It just makes you shaky, jittery, feel crap, nauseous, and you get grumpy. Too much kratom can make you aggressive and angry. Not violent, but just annoyed with sounds and everything just gets on your nerves. So, yeah, I usually take it 2 to maybe 3 times. Usually the middle dose is much smaller, maybe a teaspoon. Which is funny for somebody who's been taking it this long, because I've heard people say, "Oh, I take ounces every day." Like, don't do that. You'll regret it. Okay, opioid is anything that is similar to morphine. No, I can respect that. But is my battery dying or what? Sorry. Um, no, I don't care what the definition, honestly, no offense. I don't care what the definition of an opioid is because they're relying on what they already knew existed at the time, and there were very few components. Even though mitragynine acts on that receptor, they found so do a lot of other components, even some psychedelics. So you can't necessarily call a psychedelic an opioid. And I guess by definition, to me, the way that it hangs on differently, there are many different agonists and antagonists which are very similar. But I guess it's just splitting fucking hairs. It's all semantics, right? Doesn't matter. I needed this live chat. Well, good. I'm glad. You know what? I fucking think so did I, honestly. I haven't done a live chat in forever. And I'll probably do more of them. Look, even my voice recorder couldn't keep up with this shit. Are they still going through with the kratom ban in Indonesia? And what does that mean for us? I heard they wanted to make it Schedule 1. I do not believe that. I don't think that... I've looked into it in the past. It's possible. The thing is, India makes so much money off of it. All their farmers have switched to kratom, a lot of them, and they are doing really well, and it's good, and they need the money. Americans spend a lot of money on kratom. That's why I want to keep being a vendor, but I can't take the same payments I used to, and I also can't even fucking get in good shit I used to. I want some good Sundanese, the stuff that used to kick my ass. I'm gonna got some potent Indo and like Red Cali, but it's just not the same as it used to be. It's okay, but nobody says how you doing. Hey, what's up, dude? Andre, talk about Carpo while he's gone. What? What does that mean? Oh, that must have been a long time ago. Shit, see, I'm getting way behind the comments again, huh? Whoops. Oh, my computer came on. That's weird. Fucking weird people. Celebrity politicians the new way? The drug war has ruined so many lives in libertarian. Let people know how they want to live as long as it doesn't hurt others. Exactly. Reagan was a celebrity, you know? Well, Reagan, yeah, he was. Do you think kratom tolerance flatlines at a certain point? Yes, I really do. Let me just say this about kratom. Not only that, it doesn't just flatline at a certain point. If you take too much, it just doesn't work anymore. It just stops working. And if you take it when you're sick, it seems to have no effect. If I have a viral load or something, it's really weird. Even though I don't generally get sick, if I'm not feeling well or I'm feeling down, it tends to be during. It's weird. Kratom doesn't seem to affect me the same during those times. Could be anybody. Uh, Anybody could have different, reaction to that. But let people live. Yep, yep. Libertarians. Yeah, I agree. They hold liberty. But the thing is, there's other people that would take your liberty. Let me tell you this about libertarians. They hold liberty as their value, but what happens when I told my brother about this? He said, we were talking about whether taxes should exist, and he's like, well, I don't mind paying local taxes, but I shouldn't pay any federal. And I'm like, okay, what happens when somebody comes to your town and decides to just take over one of your farmers' fields, and they have more firepower than your police force, and there's no federal government? Or what if another country invades your country? It's very difficult and complex, and that's why I'm like, okay, I'm trying to understand things that must exist for a reason, right? Even all the bullshit in politics and all the things within our government must exist for at least some reason, right? There are people who are overseeing these things. Some of it's total bullshit, but a lot of it has a purpose, and that's what's crazy. You have to sort through it, and you start to. They said if you're under 30 and you're not a liberal, you got no heart, and if you're over 40 and not a conservative, you have no brain. I don't believe that, but I do believe that if you don't have some values and understand both sides by the time you're older, then you're like, you hit this point where you're like, there's a sweet spot right in the middle, where you realize everybody's full of shit. The unfortunate part about that is that when you realize everybody's full of shit, no matter which side you talk about, the other side always gets offended and butthurt. I don't get butthurt. Even when I'm commenting back to people, I just ask them, and then they seem to get offended. Like, why? This is bullshit. I don't believe this. Frank, I voted. Yeah, I voted too. I was reluctant. I voted for Bernie last time. My brother said he did too. Or maybe he said he voted for Jill Stein. He was pissed. He threw his vote away or something. But I voted for Bernie last time. This time I did vote for Biden because I felt like it was important. But, that's just me. I hope for the best. American Revolution. Yeah. We've had some rough moments with America. It's true. 3%ers. Oh no. Epstein. Well, yeah, I don't give a shit about Epstein. I never did. I don't even know what Epstein's deal was. I know what his deal was, let me say that, but I don't really know why it's become such a meme. It's like the dude was part of a huge group of pervy fucks that even the president's one of them. He's admitted going to see little pageants and little girls, and God, it's just disgusting. Like, what kind of a world do we live in where we accept that as just normal and we just overlook it? Anyway, hopefully things will change. I want people to get along. Oh, Epstein, the tip of the iceberg? Of course he was. Dude, everybody's been seen with that guy. He had an island with fucking girls on it, dude. That's gross. I don't even want to talk about that shit. It's disgusting, man. Been making any new tunes? Yeah, dude, I wrote 2 new songs today. I wrote one about politics and one about it was a joke though. And then I wrote one for my podcast intro because I was playing with a new keyboard beat. I found the drums on the keyboard, so I was like, oh yeah, this is fun, and put it on my 8-track. But it's on my Patreon channel. No, you don't have to be a patron. Whenever I say, oh, it's on my Patreon channel, it's always the stuff that's free. It's not all only accessible to patrons. So the link's in the description. You can always go check that shit out. I put some music on there because I can't do that on, I can't just upload a song to YouTube. You have to put it in video format, right? MP4, whatever. And so I just uploaded to my Patreon. You have a band camp? No, I don't. We did for our old band. I haven't made one for my own because I don't have enough songs to make it worth it. And it seems kind of pointless. I could just do it in a podcast. I did a podcast intro, so I could just like put that right into the podcast, you know. Here we go with the flat earth. Oh no, is somebody saying about a flat earth? Oh yeah, Dane, bro. All right, you gonna school us on the shape of the earth? Sweet. What are your top favorite nootropics? Lion's mane, Bacopa monieri, ashwagandha, kratom, actually, and psilocybin, which can actually rebuild those neural networks. Uh, all nootropics are just basically, for those who don't know, they're basically brain enhancing compounds. I created my own blend. It's called the Athena blend, and I had it on my website for quite a while, and it was expensive to make. I mean, the pills for me to manufacture, I was using these high quality extracts, so the profit margin was so slim, I just stopped making them. But then I started getting all these requests, and I thought about making them again, but all different mushrooms, like red reishi as well. You know, they all have neuroprotective effects, but especially lion's mane can be really useful. Awesome stuff. A lot of different fucking options for that stuff. Have a great night, everyone. Hey, have a great night. Thanks, dude. Thanks, Mark. You have a great night, too. I appreciate you listening to my bullshit. I can't even believe I've got like 37 people watching this shit, you know? But hey, it's cool. It's kind of nice to have an audience, you know? I've had so many people say my channel's just bullshit that it kind of sinks in after a while. You're like, why should I even do a live? Nobody cares. Then you do one and people are like, hey, thanks for having it. So, you know, honestly, one of the things I like the most about this channel, my channel, and it sounds cheesy, is that I've gotten a lot of personal emails from people that have told me about situations in their lives, and I've read them all. I may not have responded as fully as I could have or should have to every one of them, but I read everything with a full open heart, and I've just been heartbroken by some of the stories people have told me. But to say that something I said in a video helped them was just like an amazing thing to me. So it's kind of one of the things that inspires me to keep making stupid videos talking to the camera. So you should have a band camp. Yes, I probably will. I just haven't signed up yet. I don't know why I haven't. I don't know. I'm not embarrassed, or I should say I would be embarrassed to put the songs I do have on Bandcamp. I haven't finalized them. The ones I do have are on YouTube. I have probably a dozen songs I've written on acoustic, but I haven't perfected them yet, and I need to go back and do it again. Where do you get the best lion's mane? From me, man, on my website. No, actually, I don't even think I have any left on there. It's a place called... Well, you can only order it in bulk from them. So because I buy bulk to sell. You have to buy like a kilo, and it's like $150, I think, for that extract. It's a Mushroom Shen, Shen. Look them up. It's good stuff. They have some really good mushroom extracts. Everyone masturbate now. Oh god, dude. I mean, okay, let me just ask this. Who is the CPS? Like, I can't remember what they had their name as before, but I'm curious to know what drives a person to like troll that way when they get no attention at all already. Like when everybody's already ignoring you and they haven't been paying attention to you forever. Like, what do you get out of it? You know? Are you jacking it right now? I mean, whoa, I don't get it. Yeah. Maybe you just mean well. You're just trying to be funny, you know, but it's not funny. So, anyway. Thanks, Carpo. You're welcome. The earth is not flat. I know. Of course it's not flat. It's not round either. It's a fucking cube, dude. The earth is a cube. I saw it on YouTube. What are your thoughts on LSD compared to psilocybin in terms of medicinal or spiritual growth? I think that LSD, both of them have to be used in the right context, and LSD is much longer lasting, and you better be ready for it. I mentioned this earlier, you might not have been here, but LSD is much more angular and mushrooms are rounder. Mushrooms are better for a full connection to the earth, whereas psychedelics are maybe better on a connection to people, some ways. That makes sense. I'm glad you had this live stream. Well, so am I. Thanks. Never listen to a hater. Your channel is the most recommended for me. Of course it is, because the algorithms pick shit you've already watched. My channel hasn't been recommended to anybody for like months. I don't get hardly any subscribers, something like 10 a month or something, because YouTube has, they basically remove anything that's even remotely controversial. So if I talk about something that's, weird, it's just like a blacklist for YouTubers, and I just don't care. That's why I just don't give a fuck. Around Earth. Your videos aren't stupid to me. I've been a viewer for a while now. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Frank. I do. Did you ever combine kratom with psychedelics? In my experience, it blocked the mushrooms. I honestly wouldn't know, because, that's one of the weird things. I don't even know how much I took, right? I don't know. Have I, like, is it the same amount I took last time? Is there something else that's blocking? Maybe I ate some more food before. Maybe there was an MALY that affected me before. A lot of different factors can play into it. The fact is, when people ask me that, I don't know, because I take kratom every day. I don't take them with psychedelics, but I've always taken them earlier in the day, so I really don't know. It's possible. Considering that they affect the opioid receptors, probably, slightly. I don't know which ones, but they also affect the, they're like a simulated serotonin. They're a form of DMT. Mushrooms are. 7-hydroxy? No. I don't know. Is live chat addicting? I don't know yet. I did one a while back and I had a great time, but I haven't done one since. Hi, Carpo. Have you ever been to Europe? No, I haven't ever been to Europe. Like I said, I got a felony when I was younger for weed, and I always assumed I couldn't travel. It was one of those things. I figure I have a felony now for growing pot. I'll never be able to leave the country, so I just figured I was trapped. Been kind of stupid at times in my life, not realizing the potential I had. I'd like to give any advice to any of you who are younger out there. Don't let anything hold you back. If you want to go travel somewhere and do something, fucking do it. My friend and I were going to travel when I was younger. My buddy Tim and I. He ended up going traveling, but I met my wife at the time, and I'm really glad that I stayed, because, I don't think I could tolerate anybody else, and I don't think anybody else could tolerate me, except my wife, Michelle. She's a wonderful woman. She's the love of my life. And it's funny, you start to take it for granted maybe after 21 years, but you never stop loving someone. You just like step back sometimes and go, wow, man, I've had it really good. Somebody was asking me about fights or something the other day, and I was saying how we never get in fights. We just never do. We just never argue. It's weird. Well, I think I'm going to head out pretty quick. It's been a long time. Everybody's saying they're going to bed, which is good, because I'm just thinking about going to bed myself. You want to meet the love of your life? Yeah, I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. It's good. It's a good feeling to have somebody in your life that you love. Somebody that you care about. Somebody that cares about you. Need to come to Europe. We have such nice weed strains. Oh, man. We've got lots of good weed here, too. We're in the Pacific Northwest. We've had it legal for quite a while. In fact, the original DJ Short blueberry strain comes from, up here in Humboldt County. And it's an endless supply of really good pot. But I know Europe has a lot of good strains, too. Plus, you've got some legal mushrooms over there, which we're getting there. We're working on it. The Antarctica Peace Treaty, yeah. There's no such thing as a peace treaty. It's a fucking oil well up there now. Any prophecies for next year? Ha! Hey, Daniel, how you doing? Oh, really? Do you want to hear my prophecies for next year? Yeah, I do. I think that by the end of December, when January starts, our hospitals are going to be fucking overflowing with COVID patients, but we'll be tolerating it okay. We'll have makeshift morgues and mass graves like we did in New York. The people who denied it will still be denying it. And eventually, the fabric of society will tear down. We'll start, we're going to start welding spikes on our cars and putting rocket launchers on them and flamethrowers. We're going to get a bunch of leather. We're going to cut it up. We're going to put that shit on. Fucking put mohawks. It's going to be Mad Max. It's going to be great. And you're going to enjoy it. We're all going to enjoy it. We're going to have a great time. We're really going to have a great time. The original Mad Max, not some stupid remake, okay? You are so lucky, Carpo. How am I so lucky? I'm not as lucky as you might think. Luck has nothing to do with it. It's work. It's work to be human. Maybe Joe Biden will have a stroke from sniffing. Oh, yeah. Huh? Oh, dude, that's so good. I mean, that's like something like what a 15-year-old would say. God, dude. Grow up. We're heading into the seasonal flu season. That's true. Yeah. Oh, it's going to say it's all COVID. Well, the thing is, there's a difference. If you look at the numbers, okay, let me just tell you this. In the average flu season, 30,000 people might die from the flu. We've already lost 230,000 from this in 6 months. If you don't study the 1918 pandemic, you don't understand how viruses work. I have a book here that I could loan you called Spillover, or you could buy it yourself. It's a phenomenal book written by an epidemiologist and somebody who studied all viruses his whole life, and it's about 400 pages explaining how these viruses work, and it explains SARS-CoV-1, the original SARS, and what a likely virus would be like in the future. It was written about 10 years ago, but it's a phenomenal look into how something like this is bound to happen because they happen all the fucking time. Why would a virus not come around that's dangerous? It is like the most likely thing to happen to human beings is to have a contagious virus that transfers itself around on airplanes and shit. I don't know why that is so hard to believe. It doesn't make sense to me. When everyone else is giving you information and you dispute it, you have to at least explain who's giving you your information. Because otherwise, it just sounds like you're just saying, it doesn't happen, it's not happening, it's not happening, it's not happening. And it really is fucking happening. And, all the adults in the room say it's happening. All the idiots say it's not. Why would you believe the idiots if you're not an idiot? You're not an idiot. You're a human being. You're a smart person. You don't have to believe that things are all fake, okay? So, Bill Gates is a piece of shit. Oh, God. Are you having a mood swing? I mean, come on, man. I mean... I'm moving on. Developed in a lab. Okay. Anyway, I'm moving on from this shit. No offense, but you're making me drink more beer. I'm gonna just finalize with this. I've seen, in my experience in life, from what I know, and I'm a fool, I trust scientists, doctors, and epidemiologists a hell of a lot more than I trust politicians and businessmen. I mean, what else can I say about it, really? Do I think that COVID is being overstated as a danger? No, but do I think that people are taking it as too much of a danger? Yes. I think people are paranoid, and I don't believe in a lockdown. Beyond that, yeah, a lot of old people are going to die, and a lot of compromised people are going to die. But why is that so surprising? I mean, viruses happen. Why wouldn't it? Why does everything have to be fake? I mean, the thing is, when people say the virus is fake, it's like people say Sandy Hook is fake. So nothing surprises me anymore. It's just this. You get so far beyond this shit. You just. I went through this conspiracy phase of my life where I didn't believe anything, and then I realized how dumb it was to say MSM, mainstream media, mainstream media. And I thought to myself, yes, mainstream media, left and right, are both controlled and told what they can't talk about. But it doesn't mean that the people in the middle and the people on the fringe can't actually find the good stories. Where are they? They don't exist because most of the time the real news is boring. And people want to cover it as some big conspiracy, and it's always some big fucking deal, and I don't know. Mainstream media doesn't mean it's all a lie. It's like when I say this, if you go to Associated Press right now, you go to their website, they are the most mainstream media you could possibly find on earth. AssociatedPress.com. Go to AP.com, look at all the headlines, and then pick one. Click on the article, and then send it to me in an email with your dispute of how that's just fake or not real. Because all the articles are real stories. They all happen. And most of the media get their news from AP. So therefore, Associated Press is like the go-to for most of the news channels, all of them. So mainstream media doesn't mean it's not real. It just means that it's shit that most people don't want to hear because it doesn't agree with, say, Breitbart or something that somebody else listens to. It's pretty ridiculous, honestly. I did hear the earth is flat. Thanks for asking. Don't trust just trust government, bureaucrats, scientists. Well, I trust the scientists in the books that I just read that I was explaining. Epidemiologists. I trust the scientists who explain how viruses work. And I also trust the people who I know personally who have contracted COVID, as well as the doctors and nurses who have seen the patients. We're doing better with it, but it's still dangerous to a lot of people. And for us to just ignore that is pretty selfish, because I thought one of the advantages to becoming an advanced society, right, is that we have endless, advancements in technology and medicine. And one of these advancements is advancements in our intelligence and our ability to prevent them altogether. I'm going to tell you this right now. Okay, if you don't believe in COVID, that's fine. We will revisit this in the middle of January in 2 months, okay? 60 days from now. If the cases haven't doubled by then, I'll literally eat my shorts. No, of course not. But I'll sit here and I will make a live stream 60 days from now. Call me out on it. Say, hey, you were going to do that live stream, but you won't because the cases will have probably doubled by then. And the deaths, unfortunately, aren't going to be... Over time, everyone's going to get sick. It's just going to happen. Or at least the people who are going to get sick are going to get sick. But I don't want to overwhelm the hospitals. Like somebody said, 86% in Portland. I mean, we don't want to overwhelm the ICUs. As long as we can keep it mild and people just wear their masks when they have to. I don't wear it when I'm outside. I don't wear it in my fucking car. There's some weirdos out there who wear it everywhere they go. I'm like, no, I just wear it when I go in the grocery store. I put it on, go in the store, come out, big deal. That's what they ask for. It's just... I trust government, scientists, and real scientists much more than I trust YouTubers, okay? Random people telling me differently, which is where everybody else gets their info now, or Facebook, or elsewhere. I don't trust anybody who has a vested interest with their ad revenue or anything else. A lot of these scientists are poor, normal, average people who just live modest lives. They have nothing to gain from it. I trust scientists. I do. Not all of them, and I don't trust all the science either. Turn off the TV and listen to the scientists then. I don't watch TV, bro. I don't watch TV. I don't have a television. I don't watch cable. I haven't had it in 10 years. It's like, come on. Give me a break. You voted for Biden. Yep, goddamn right I did. I'm going to vote for that orange piece of shit. You want me to name scientists? Okay, I'm bypassing your bullshit. AP is full of crap. Okay, then kill your television. I challenge you. Go to AP right now. Go to the. You don't have earballs, do you? Get your earballs in and go to AP and pick one of the headlines right now and dispute it and show me how it's wrong. You can't because you're just trolling. But if you are just trolling, it's just a waste of my time, dude. It's kind of like lame. Because I actually try to answer people. If you really have that viewpoint, and you really believe that, and you stand behind that, then, I'll talk about it. But don't waste my time if you're just being a troll. Come on, give me a break. I'm not talking to the child's whatever. I'm not listening to you anymore or even reading your comments because you're a fucking douchebag. Google global circulation on influenza virus. More got flu after week 13 of 2020. Dude, I've looked at my own virus research and I have my own opinions on this. Thank you. Yeah. Of course, cases are going to double. No, I said deaths. Okay, fine. Deaths are going to double. Okay, let me tell you this. Deaths will double by mid-January. Okay, we'll lose another 200,000 people by mid-January, I bet. Maybe not, but we'll revisit this and find out. It's been over 9 months. I haven't met anyone who's sick. Well, I have. Sorry. Where do you live? The hospitals are empty. Well, no shit. People are wearing masks. Okay, maybe it's time to go. Everybody's getting a little cranky here. Starting to fucking get all conspiracy laden. Where's the adults? Are they all the adults in bed? Come on. Yes, see, Dane, thank you. We all agree it's real, but there's something fishy as well. What's fishy is what I said earlier. Many countries are using this as an advantage to suppress the rights of their citizens. Even down to like saying there's a chain shortage and shit. The U.S. is totally fucking the people with what's going on. But it doesn't mean the virus isn't real. But why does everybody have to argue about it? It could still be a danger and also be used against the people. Do you not see that? I don't see how people can't see A and B can both be true. It's not an A or B situation. It's an A and B. Whenever there's been an incident, we know the 9/11 conspiracy theorists, fine, I was one of them, okay? I looked into Building 7 and I was just fascinated with this shit for years. My research led me to believe that there may be something with Building 7 still, but as for the towers themselves, it's very difficult to say that it was actually a conspiracy, right? You move forward and you start looking at information differently. With COVID, it's the same way. People will deny it up to the end. I remember people were posting videos of hologram planes during 9/11, saying that the buildings didn't even come down, right? Same thing's happening with COVID. It's a full-blown denial by so much of society. I've studied viruses and I've loved learning about viruses. And to me, they're fascinating. And I think, God, it's really sad that people aren't just like really understanding how these things really operate and work. I'm not, like I said, I'm not worried about getting it myself because I have type O blood, most likely. My dad did. All the rest of my family does. So, like I said, people just use it to their advantage. Behold a carpo. Not a pandemic, period. Okay, well, any virus that goes across countries is, by definition, a pandemic. So, destroying small business. Yeah, I know. That's why we're opening back up, and there's no point in closing again. Look up Event 201. I've already heard about 201 a million times. I'm just not interested in that shit anymore. I'm so done with conspiracies. I've had, so many different viewpoints on these things. Honestly, Occam's razor, okay? The most likely scenario is usually the right one. It's not always true. But let me say, there are people who say, as I said, Sandy Hook never happened. It wasn't even a real school. Whatever. I wouldn't even entertain that notion. What I've learned about people, and this is important for anybody who actually cares, if anybody's listening, there is in human nature, we have a lot of angry people, like within our society, that have felt let down, felt betrayed, misled, and lied to. And I'm one of them. I know my government's lied to me since I was young. When I found out some of the shit my military's done to its own soldiers, that's when I was just like, dude, why would I support this country at all? Like, the whole thing is corrupt. But a few years back, I had an epiphany. The epiphany was I still have to live in this fucking country, right? And I've been told my whole life that your vote doesn't matter, nothing matters, it's all fucked, it's all fake. They want you to just hide in your goddamn cave and not care. A lot of people do. Because you either trust that most people are good or you think that most people are lying to you. And I've believed at one time, after I'd been robbed by friends and stolen from, I'd been convinced that everybody was pretty much out to get you. And I realized that that was when I was in my conspiracy phase, and I moved past it. Doesn't mean that I don't see conspiracies still exist. It just means that I don't focus on that. I realize when things are real because I trust people. When I see Fauci up there, for example, okay, let me give you this example. Fauci, the one who's hated and gets death threats, and Birx. I have looked enough people in the eye to see them looking in the camera and trust them. You can think that that's bullshit and that they're robots, that they're owned by the state, that they're, you know, it's all bullshit. You're deluded if you actually believe that. You really are. Because you haven't met enough human beings if you think that they're actually out to lie to you to make something out of it. Trump is the billionaire that was lying. He's the only one who was disputing Fauci. Trump was the only human being that was disputing Fauci the whole time. Nobody else was. If you can show me one other person who did, then I might be like, oh, okay, maybe the guy's a liar. He's not. It was just Trump because he was angry because he lost the spotlight. And he's a sore loser. It's pathetic. It's pretty sad, but Fauci is an honest man, a good man. And he may have had his issues in the past. Doesn't matter. I still trust him on the fact that COVID is real. You don't have to. And you don't have to trust my judgment. You don't have to care at all. And I don't care if you care. So, I better back up here. Where are we at? Mask is satanic. I'm moving on. People in power have historically been dishonest and corrupt, period. You're correct, actually, Dane. That's the unfortunate part, and that's why I believe in smaller communities, intentional communities, and not larger, federally run institutions. I think that we should eliminate most of the military budget and allow states to kind of run on their own accord, which would eliminate a lot of the need for federal taxes. Use that money locally. Because I don't give a shit what Georgia does with its money, or Kentucky. I think Washington State can do just fine by itself. That's my opinion anyway. It's Cascadia. We've always wanted to kind of isolate from the rest of the country because, it's not about not being America. It's about just not having the federal government. I mean, all libertarians should agree with secession by at least one area as long as it's still part of the Union, but not answerable to any federal government, right? That's how I feel. Fauci said don't wear masks. Yes, he did say don't wear masks in March, and I remember when I looked at my wife and I said he's saying that because there's a shortage of masks. Everybody has covered this a million times. If you're aware of what's going on and you're paying attention, this has been covered so many times that it's not worth wasting anybody's time talking about. I mean, it's incessantly, it's been all over every single media outlet, left and right. Everyone has explained this. Are you really still unaware? Fauci said don't wear masks, and he has clearly said that he said that by mistake because he knew if everybody ran out and got masks, then it would have just flooded the market, and the nurses who really needed the N95 masks would not be able to get them, which is true. I went out and bought them in March myself, and I remember the guy at the counter thought I was crazy. I was like, you're going to be out of these pretty quick. And he's like, what? And I was like, that virus. He's like, eh. And it was like a week later, all N95s were sold out everywhere. And I felt bad for the nurses the wearing garbage bags and shit. So yeah, it made sense. He said that because they wanted to protect the fucking healthcare workers that really needed them instead of the hoarders that were going to hawk them and sell them, which they found plenty of. So hopefully that explains it to you. I really hope the virus does not keep morphing or become resistant to drugs. The truth is, Frank, I found that from what I've researched, it's actually probably becoming less dangerous over time, which is good. I mean, I'm hoping it just dies out and fades and becomes nothing. Some people believe that the current flu strain all was derived from the 1918 pandemic. In other words, that flu strain morphed and became so virulent that it is the one that's been recurring ever since then. And it's very possible that that's the flu strain, the same one that's been continually, changing. And that a SARS-CoV-2 that's out of control like this, that wasn't harnessed, because COVID-1 was stopped because it wasn't transmittable until it was contagious. This one is transmittable by people who aren't contagious, or transmittable by people who aren't sick or symptomatic. And that's important to remember because it makes it different. It means that it might not be anything to most people, but a few people it is. And fuck, I care about old people. I care about my neighbors. I got old neighbors, man. Yeah, he did say that. Yep. I trust Fauci. It's common sense. Yeah, thank you, Olivia. God, I'm glad somebody has a brain out there. It is common sense. Fauci has nothing to gain. He's not a rich guy. He's not trying to benefit from anything. He fucked up in that case. I totally agree. He fucked up. He should not have said that. But I was pissed at him when he said that. I was like, dude, that's really bad. That's going to fall back. I remember, you can ask my wife, we were talking about it. I was like, he should not say that shit, but I understand why he's doing it. They were freaking out. They drained the goddamn medical supply. They emptied the cupboards, dude. I mean, I don't want to blame anybody, but it is what it is. We don't know Fauci personally. Yeah, that's true. We don't. But I don't know anybody personally in charge. I have to trust somebody. That's what you've got to figure out, man. It's like you got to trust somebody, or you just lost trust in everybody. And like I said, I look into somebody's eyes, and you look at their reactions, their demeanor. If you learn how to read people's faces, you can take watch a couple simple classes on people's demeanors and reactions and see when a person's lying, when a person's bullshitting you. It goes a long way. It really does, man. I'm telling you. He said it's akin to the seasonal flu. Yes, he did. But Trump also said that it's worse than the flu back in April. So, what do you do? What do you think about Starlink? Oh, Starlink syncing up all those satellites up into fucking space. Dude, I saw it when I was out in the desert camping in eastern Washington like a few months ago. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I saw two satellites. I was like, there's a satellite behind it. And then another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. There's like 10 in a row, and I haven't seen it since, but it was pretty cool. I think it might have been right after they launched it, and it was still going into orbit. Pretty sure that's what it was. It's pretty fucked up. Putting all these satellites into orbit, they're going to mess up our fucking night sky, dude. That's how I feel about it. But, yeah. No. Oh, I'm done. Peace, everyone. He's not going to listen. He thinks Fauci. Yeah, dude, I just don't answer stupid shit. I don't have the time to answer, people complaining about Fauci. I just don't care. I don't want to fight anymore. I'm just so done with fighting about stupid shit like Fauci. I'm just trying to explain that I don't trust Trump. I trust Fauci over Trump. Why wouldn't you? Like, why would anybody think you should drink bleach instead? Get a fucking brain. God. All right. Immortal soul. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't really care what people think these days. I mean, I'm way past giving a shit about people's opinions on whether things exist, You get your family sick. I could give fucking two shits, It's your life. That's why I moved past that shit. Cornered the mask market. No, I bought like 10 of them actually, and I was like, God, I ran out already. And now I just use my little bandana I was wearing. This is all I wear. Just put on something like that when I go in the store because I'm just an adult and, it is what it is. I was pretty back in February and everybody thought I was nuts. I know my brother made fun of me for getting, I told him yesterday, I was like, yeah, I went out and got a bunch of toilet paper early, in like April. He's like, oh, you were one of the hoarders? I was like, no, I was one of the people who just went out and prepared so I didn't have to deal with other people's bullshit for a few months. Like, when you hear that something's selling out and you go out and you buy it, you're not a hoarder. You're intelligent. I don't understand the reasoning behind not doing that. It was just jealousy because other people couldn't wipe their ass. So you grabbed a big old fucking rag. Come on, admit it. You were using coffee filters for a while. You know it's true. If he thought masks prevent them, blah, 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 bandana. Yeah, he should have said that. He's a bad man. Okay, fine, he's a bad man. Don't viruses and bacteria get smarter too? Actually, they don't get smarter, but they replicate so fast that they evolve at a rate which they can. If they work, they work, and they don't. Like viruses are funny. They replicate millions of times in the host. And most of the time, if it's a successful replication, then it works. If it's a weird mutation, it probably doesn't carry on to another human. That's why you can get viruses that transmit from an animal to a human, but not from human to human. So you can get a virus from chickens, birds, bird flu, but it might not be transmissible between humans. If it morphs in that human to where it transmits to another human, then it becomes a serious issue. And if the virus is bad enough, you might not even know it's happened before it's, too late. And in this case, it could have been from a lab, it could have been from, intentional, but it seems to be an argument between whether it's nothing or it's intentional. And I don't know. It's just silly to me. But yeah, they don't get smarter necessarily. They just evolve so fast that they can actually do something like replicate millions of times to where one of them might work and then replicate. Yeah. It's a psychological operation. It has the same death rate as flu. Well, I don't believe that. I believe 230,000 people have died in America, and the flu rate is 30,000 people. So therefore, you do the math yourself. Yeah, you don't make any sense, my friend. You just want to believe conspiracies, you can. I don't care. You can watch YouTubers to tell you all your facts and figures and claim mainstream media is just a lie and everybody's out to lie to you and get you. The fact is, like I said, I challenged you to go to AP, look at every headline and tell me it's all lies. Because it's just a simple, stupid news organization. The reason I mention that is because they have a credibility to uphold. If AP were to post a fake article, it would be all over the other news outlets. AP posts an uncredible article, right? Because they have something to lose. They don't do that. Guys on YouTube who want to tell you everything's a conspiracy, they don't have anything to lose. They get ad revenue from your ass. So if you want to watch their stupid shit and you want to believe dumb Breitbart articles, you're welcome to. If you want to believe Donald Trump and his little Fauci's a bad man, then to me, you're just not an adult and you haven't grown up yet. So, anyway, moving on. COVID is real, but everything was just an intelligence operation, but that's a theory. I think that a lot of COVID is real, yes, and what's been done on top of that, it has been state-based. In other words, the federal government has not mandated anything. So I'd like anybody to explain how each state enacting their own specific rules, and every single country around the world is all involved in a psyop. Now, when you can tell me how Iran is involved in a psyop with our country and Russia and China and every other country, I'll listen. I'll be listening. But if it was an intelligence operation, why did every other fucking country do the same thing? I mean, are people really thinking this through? I just don't understand it. No offense. Hey, there's a squirrel outside. Hey, Tobacco Row, you're here. What are you doing? You gonna tell me about ice skating again? Come on, man. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Thanks for the coin you sent, by the way. You sent me a 1964 Kennedy $50. It's pretty cool of you. Have you had a 5-MeO DMT experience? Oh, shit. Nope. Well, I've smoked DMT. I don't think I've had the toad stuff. I think that's the toad venom, if I'm not mistaken. My vape is just not powerful enough. I guess it's okay. No, I haven't had that stuff yet. I've wanted to. I've tried a few different forms of DMT, but I've only smoked it. And DMT is intense. It's fucking intense, dude. It's like mind-numbingly intense. I have never experienced anything like DMT. I mind fucking blown, but I'm not interested in doing it right now. It's one of those things. The last time I did it, I had a little bit with me, and I kind of had it carried around wherever I went, just in case, camping and stuff. I was camping, and the family went to sleep. Everybody was crashed, and I was sitting by the campfire. It's like, good time. Smoked it, and I remember seeing the fire swirl up, and all these like gnomes in there and shit. It was great. I mean, fucking DMT is crazy. Yeah, it was nuts, man. Clorox injections will cure us all. Yeah, I was really shocked when he said that. I know people joke about it, and a lot of people on the right are like try to defend it. It's like, no, really, dude. The guy said, is there some way that we could like inject cleaner into the body? I was just like, I couldn't believe it that a human being, let alone the leader of the free fucking world, could say, can we inject bleach or some kind of cleaner into the body or put light into the body? I know that it's been overplayed. It was just, sorry you brought it up. It just cracks me up. I just couldn't believe it. It's fucked up, dude. God. And then people like backed it up and like tried to defend it and like explain it. It's like, dude, just admit that he's a fucking buffoon and move on. I mean, God, the guy's so unfucking cultured. I can't believe we voted for that guy. But it tells me half the country has a different opinion than me. I respect that. But I can still laugh at it. I mean, 80% of them are Christians, or 75% of Americans are Christians, and I just can't believe that people believe in Jesus as the one savior either. But it's not that I hate them. I just am a different person. I feel different. That like excommunicates 3/4 of my crowd, theoretically, right? So it's not that I respect religion. I just don't understand it, I guess. And I'm starting to over the years, but believing in an authoritarian figure, what I've learned is that people with right, this is just kind of a general assessment of studies they've done. People who are conservative minded versus liberal minded have different brains. People who are conservative minded are afraid of change, literally afraid of change. It's a fearful reaction they have to new things, new ideas. They're scared. They're snowflakes, They need to be coddled and held and put in a little crib and everything and rocked by us liberals, because if you get enough snowflakes together, they become an avalanche, and you know how that ends up. And I'm totally fucking around, having fun. I'm not. The war between liberals and conservatives is not my war. It's just Clorox injections and shit. There's a lot of fun shit going on right now. I'm having a good time. My state is not being muzzled or sheepled or any of that conspiracy authoritarian bullshit. The only authoritarianism we had was Trump, and thank God he's gone. And we were just celebrating in the streets. We've been having such a great time. Our whole fucking state's just doing great. And Portland was just a fucking party zone yesterday. It's like people can't deny that the only real threat to this country was the president, and he's gone. So thank God for that one. Sly Stone. GoFundMe for Sly Stone. What's wrong with Sly Stone? Did he get hurt? Hurt? Oh, man. Fuck. I gotta check that out. This dude's a lost cause. You don't know how many times I've heard that stupid shit. That's somebody's way of saying they got nothing left. Do you say that about every regulation? Seatbelt, speed limits? That's what I've been telling people. I'm sure you don't wear helmets where you're working in construction because you're too tough, or don't wear a helmet on a motorcycle because it's your freedom and it's your right. It's just really sad. I've thought of it. It's not about not drunk driving. It's or not driving with the seatbelt. It's more like, do you drunk drive with your children in the back seat? Whatever. If that's your thing, I don't care. Trust no one in government. Well, if you live your life like that, I'm guaranteeing you right now, you're going to be miserable, my friend. You're going to be fucking miserable. If you trust nobody at all, not even your local elected officials, nobody, then it means that you've been let down by society, and I'm really sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way. Dude, send me an email, man. Tell me what your problem is, because that shit is honestly fucking depressing. I get it. I've been through the phase, but you can get over it. You can really look through it as an adult and be like, okay, there are people out there who mean well. Not every human is out to get me. Not every single human. There are people who think I'm a demon out to get them, right? I mean, am I a bad guy? Why are you watching me? Because you must trust me a little bit, right? What if I was in government? What if I decided I wanted to go into politics to at least help people? You know, would you trust me? Probably not, because I'm in government. Anyway, the flu rate is what? 30,000 deaths a year. So 1/10 of what we have. I don't think people should be fired for not wearing seatbelts. Who's getting fired for not wearing yeah, I don't know. If you're comparing that to masks, you know, like I said, it's a business. It's their choice. CDC numbers are triple that from last year. Well, it's going to... What? It's hard to even know what people are saying anymore because I can't tell if people are opposing this or, you know, COVID or for it, or I should say believe in it or not. It's just almost absurd. I almost feel the need to just call out anyone who's brainwashed by the school system. It's a lot better for my mental health. Well, fortunately, I learned everything after high school. Thanks for explanation. How many hours do you sleep? I sleep as much as I need. Honestly, I get about 9 hours a night, 8 to 9 hours. I think that that's pretty ideal. I usually go to bed around midnight, wake up around 8, so maybe 8 hours, sometimes at 11. I never wake up to an alarm, and I really don't believe in that. I think it fucks up your whole schedule. Totally cramps your style, man. If you don't get enough sleep, you get grumpy and paranoid, and you start believing in conspiracies. People destroy AP all the time. Prove it then, dude. Just prove it. How do people destroy AP? Dude, I was just making one example of a news organization that's considered legitimate and that's quoted by everyone else. I'm sure there's some articles that have been questionable, but dude, come on, being reasonable. I'm saying you can't say all news is fake news is my point. And there are some realities that we have to face. That's just how it is, whatever. You know, I mean, God, yeah, dude. I don't understand. You tell me how 170 countries all are in on this conspiracy. Kill your television. Tell me this. How are 170 countries in on this conspiracy that are in completely different, you know, types of government? Explain that to me, please. Okay. Most of them get censored, ad revenue. Yeah, dude, because they're fucking dumb shits. What? No, I just want to know what you're saying. Does it even matter if Agenda 21, LOL? Yeah. Yeah, I've been hearing that one since the 70s. Hope you're well too, Carpo. Hey, Tobacco. It's obviously not a scam. It's a real virus, real deaths. It's a novel virus that spreads. Yes. Yeah, and I'm not going to take the virus or the vaccine. I'll tell you that right now. Fuck no. I know it'll be untested, and I'll just wait for other people to get it. I'm not even worried about getting sick myself. AP is a complete joke. Ah, dude. Yeah, Alex Jones told me so. Oh, God. Okay, I'm going to have to bypass you guys because you're just wanting to argue. And honestly, dude, I'm kind of so through that. I'm just so done with arguing with people about stupid shit. You know, when you can't even come up with any actual facts or evidence or, AP is a complete joke. Okay, a complete joke. AP has thousands of fucking reporters around the world on site, and you sit in front of your computer and know fucking nothing. You're dumb shit. Sorry, man. You're a fucking dumbass. Would you consider yourself sarcastic or passive-aggressive? It depends on the night and the day. I think sometimes I'm just being sarcastic, but I'm just being fully serious right now. I mean, I don't like being passive-aggressive. I think what people often mean by passive-aggressive is a person is not telling them what they want to hear. So when I call a person out, they'll be like, "Oh, you're passive aggressive." I'm like, "No, I'm just straight up with you, dude. I'm telling you how I feel. You're dumb shit, you know? I mean, people are fucking stupid sometimes, you know? So it's like they have to go check themselves and like go back into their little dungeon and realize, wait, AP is a joke, but I know everything from my basement because I watch Alex Jones every day and Breitbart News." Come on. Grow up. You sound like CNN. Ah! I sound like CNN, huh? Well, fuck you. They won't say that, right? What does DMT look like? It's like a crystalline substance. You put a little bit in a pipe and you can smoke it, or you can put it on weed. It usually looks like a red gum, kind of a resin. Yeah, I haven't watched CNN in years either, bro. Um, LOL Clorox. You said disinfectant. Oh man, you guys are hilarious. This keeps going. This is just hilarious. Fedcoin. Maybe you should read some scientific scholarly articles about the COVID fraud and stop assuming. Dude, I just can't waste my time with your shit. That's all. Um, yeah. I'm having fun with you guys because you're just being dumbasses, dude, and I really don't have any need to respond to you. You can absolutely do whatever you choose. You can believe whatever you choose. You can think whatever you want is real. The thing is, how many people believe you is what it comes down to. And honestly, a lot of us get this feedback sometimes where people are like, they treat us like we're crazy. They think we're crazy. Maybe sometimes you are. Maybe sometimes the things you believe are stupid. If you believe COVID is just a giant conspiracy, you got to explain to me how 170 fucking countries are all dealing with the same shit with the same reasons. You know, what do the elite have to gain by shutting down the fucking businesses that fund their tax dollars? You don't think things through. You just make up conspiracies that you hear from other people. And once you really process it a little bit, you realize how dumb it sounds. That's all. That's how I feel anyway. You know, can't win them all. I mean, I have to be a little sarcastic because you're being ridiculous. Some of you people just cannot. You don't believe anything. You're just like, everything is a lie. The news is fake. AP is a joke. And I'm like, okay, what is a joke? Go there, spend 30 seconds looking at the articles, and show me which article is fake. I love being a smartass sometimes. But, you know, only when you're... Oh, I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass is always my favorite thing to say. The WHO leads it all. Hey, I'll tell you this. I don't like the WHO. They're motherfuckers. They are totally China-centric. I hate them too. I agree with you. We can agree there. They actually wouldn't even let Taiwan into the talks because China didn't want it. And that to me is pretty fucked up. What do you think about the United Nations? Dude, honestly, I want America to just do its own thing. But the world's complicated right now, and I don't want to go into that. Freedom is not a conspiracy theory. It's in motion. Oh, Fedcoin? What's Fedcoin? I don't know what that is. Nobody knows what the truth is anymore. Who do you trust? I trust my heart, my friend. Do you believe in God? I don't. But I believe in a higher power, and I believe in a higher energy. I believe in something that drives us, a blueprint that makes humans human. Something we can't explain. And that something also feeds our hearts and gives us a feeling when we know something's fucked up. Some people's hearts are broken. Some people's hearts are not making any sense to them. But I think we all feel something when it's wrong. We know when we beat somebody down for no reason it's wrong. We know certain things are wrong. So in my heart of hearts, it tells me that a lot of the shit that I hear from people is complete bullshit. And my own research confirms it. So I can't really... Nobody knows what the truth is. Who do you trust? It depends. Depends on the situation, I guess. Corbett report, ANC report, and last amended. I don't want to look at other people's news. I really don't. I'm just done. I look at the news. Do you literally believe everything AP says? No, I don't. I just know that you can't prove any of it wrong. Anyone that thinks COVID is fake will not be enjoying it the first time they get it for sure. Yeah, I know what you mean, man. It's fucked up. You know, my nephew got it, and it was pretty, not a pretty thing, but it's fake for anybody who hasn't had it. Kind of like, the reality never sunk in for people who haven't had experiences in their life. Oh, there's no mountain climbing. Iran doesn't exist. There's no Mount Everest. Whatever. They're clever propagandists. Oh, sure they are, bro. That's why you're just going on and on without showing your work. Anyway, moving on. Shrooms give me a feeling. Oh, dude, I need to take some. Oh, you're out by the coast, American. I know you are. You're a Trump supporter, too. Grr, fuck you. No. I bet you're picking some cyanescens or some azurescens out there. I won't say anymore, but yeah, I haven't been out yet this year. It's been a weird year, but I hope you've had a successful harvest, my friend. I really do. Fed coin is the transition to a Federal Reserve currency. Yeah, I don't like that shit. I want cash to be always available. Always available. I do not support a cashless society. I think that cash is the most important thing that we have against federal infringement of our rights. Just like, I'm not a liberal. I believe in gun rights. I know how to shoot. I'm a crack shot motherfucker. So, news is depressing? Yeah, it sure is. Life is depressing? Oh, come on, man. Is that a cry for help? I'll give you a big virtual hug. Seriously, dude. We're all having a depressing year. It's kind of fucked up, but Azzies, I knew it. I've got these Azzies up here on the shelf in a bottle of absinthe that my friend made. It was like homemade absinthe, and I put a bunch of Azzies in there. And if you don't know what Azzies are, people, then you don't need to know. You sound like a broken record. Can't find the cyans. No, me either, dude. I looked for the cyans last year. I looked hard. I did. Okay, I didn't. I'm lying. I didn't look hard. But I looked everywhere I went. I could have driven around more, but I looked in all the parks. I went down to a local place. I looked in all the wood chips, but I'm hoping better later. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of people are really angry about the current situation, and I really hope they're not focused so much. But Carpo won't look at any. I'm just, I'm so just done with people obsessing over shit. Like my life is doing just fine. I don't feel like I'm oppressed. I don't feel like my freedoms have been infringed. I don't care. If you feel like you're infringed, talk to your local government about it. Washington is doing just fucking fine. Do you have any shooting footage? Life is good. Shooting footage? What do you mean? What kind of shooting footage? I have a bunch of us getting shot with tear gas in Portland a while back, but no, I don't know what you mean. Cash should be gold backed. Yes, it should, American. It should. Cash should be absolutely gold backed, but since 1964, actually it was 1960, they just didn't tell you till 1964. We all know that that wasn't true, and really it wasn't before that. 1933, when the gold standard really was eliminated, when they took everybody's gold, bought it back, and then changed the price. Complete bullshit. Made gold illegal to own. America has a disgusting history. We talk about America being this great country, but really it's just a history of ripping the people off. Yeah, you guys don't need to steer me in a good direction, Dane. I know how to do my research. I have Breitbart on fucking speed dial, okay? I have all these right-wing Crowder, all this bullshit, all this right-wing crap and propaganda on my feed, and I watch it. I watch both sides of the issue and don't care for either side. My point is being that news does happen, things do happen, a virus did happen. We moved past it, okay? So, anyway, it should kill, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I know how to make decisions for my own family. I have a fucking, 3 kids and a wife, and I don't, God, I feel like people are just, they're so obsessed with making people see things their way. Like, I'm sitting here talking about how I feel about things. Fine, you believe what you believe. Fine, let's move on. Let's talk about mushrooms or fucking getting high or something. Why do you gotta fucking keep going on about this stupid shit? It's why being live is so boring, because, like, there's always somebody who takes over the feed with their conspiracy bullshit. You realize kill your television, that's what you're doing, right? I'll wait till you're done. Are you done? Oh, man. Anyway, I'm going to move on from reading comments now because it's just getting kind of toxic. If anybody has anything important to say, you can let me know. Actually, maybe I should just go. That's what happens when people get all weird. They start, getting weird about me. I've always had my own beliefs about things, my own opinion on life, my own opinion on why people think the way they think and why things are the way they are, and I'm just a hairless ape like the rest of you. But the one thing I have learned, the most crucial thing that I've learned, is not to press my views on other people. You present them. You don't try to push them. It just becomes kind of uncharacteristic of a human being. It's desperate. It's kind of like when you're trying to get somebody to see things your way. It's weird. It's kind of creepy. I guess it's something that I never did. I've never felt any need to pressure other people or insult them because they feel differently or, see things differently. But I've seen that the world likes it that way. They like division. So I can definitely dish it out. It's funny because I come across as a pretty peaceful guy, but honestly, when somebody said, "Are you passive aggressive?" No, I'm pretty aggressive, actually. I can be a fucking hardcore motherfucker when I want to be, but I'm pretty nice most of the time. I just, I don't like being, I don't like my time being wasted by stupid bullshit. I'm an adult. I can make my own decisions. It's like arguments that go nowhere about things that just are so obvious. It just seems so silly to me. Yes, I'm above that. I'm so pious. Oh fuck, my lighter's almost dead. Is it? No? It's full. It's one of those stupid clear lighters. I hate these things. Are you Canadian? Fuck no. I live in Washington. Washington State, not Washington, D.C., though. There we go. These, honestly, guys, don't ever buy these kind of lighters. All right. Yeah. Now it's about time to go because I've been on here for how long? 3.5 hours? That's pretty fucking awesome. It's been great talking with all y'all. I said an hour and a half, but I'm about done, so you know how it is. Canadians. Hell yeah. Mary Jane. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna head out. Thanks y'all for coming. It was good talking to you. I could keep talking for another hour, but I need to go to bed because it's probably good for me and good for my heart and good for my soul. So, be well. Take care of each other, regardless of what you believe or don't believe. It's all good. I don't walk away with any ill vibes towards any of you. And life is tough for everyone. Sometimes we have these moments where we're like, bah, 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 bah. We gotta, lash out like dogs at each other, and it's really all good. It's all good because in the end, we all mean well. We all care about each other. We might not always be able to admit it, but we do. So I'll talk to you later. Tell somebody you love them tonight, and be well, my friends. Stay true.